Yeah. yeah. Shake it, but keep pointing out all the lies. Putting the scripture right in your eye. The Bible guy, he reads Hebrew and Greek and shows you that your book's not unique. The Bible guy, he turns through the pages until every Christian rages. The Bible guy, watch one time and you're hooked. Now let's watch why the Christians get cooked. The Bible guy.
Howdy, folks. The Bible Guy here, letting you all know that today we got a special little thing going on today. Everyone, make sure you tap that screen, share the live with those you love, with those you hate, with your friends, with your enemies. I'm your host, Dalton the Bible Guy, joined here by my friend Ashland. Ashland, I'm curious, whenever I have the theme song playing on YouTube, on TikTok side, are y'all able to hear that?
Yeah, we are. Also, I have a couple questions before we get started.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first question is, did the Bible hold a position on trans individuals?
No.
Okay. The second question is Matthew teaching you how to get into heaven in that book? Is that what's going on?
Get into heaven? I mean, it tells you, like, if you want to enter into the kingdom of heaven, you have to keep God's law.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but is that what like it's about? Because there was, and the reason that I ask is because then they were saying like the Pharisees, and I was like, I don't think the Pharisees or Jesus like had a modern understanding of heaven like the Christians had, and the Pharisees, if I'm not correct, according to the Bible, didn't exactly agree with God on that either, or not God, of Jesus on what quote unquote heaven was.
Well, Jesus probably would have agreed more with the Pharisees than he would have with the Sadducees.
The Sadducees, yeah.
The Sadducees didn't believe in the resurrection of the dead, or angels or demons or anything like that. The Pharisees would have agreed with Jesus on this point, but like in first century Judaism, there was a belief that the heavens were made of 7 concentric spheres, and the third heaven is where paradise was located, and that's where the righteous went. That was one belief, because don't forget, folks, Judaism in the first century was not a monolith. They didn't all have the same exact view on the afterlife. That was just one of the beliefs. But Jesus speaks about the kingdom of God, and that's not necessarily referencing necessarily the place heaven so much as it is the idea that God's rule and reign here on the earth is what the kingdom of heaven is, and it begins with believers. But Jesus makes it very clear that if you want to be part of that kingdom, you have to like be observing the Torah, at least in the Gospel.
Yeah. So it's really kind of what I was trying to get at is they were trying to use Matthew 19 to say that it affirmed that God was taught, or that Jesus was talking about trans individuals. They did concede on that, but then the second point was that because it's all about heaven, that's not talking about the law somehow, which I didn't understand. But I was like, it doesn't make sense, because he literally says that it was said to me, in the day, what part of Matthew 19, right before it says that eunuchs will have a place in heaven.
Yeah. And eunuchs are their own special category of persons in the ancient world. They're not trans individuals, but like they are a group of people that are like within the culture of ancient Judaism would be non-normative, as opposed to just regular Hebrew Israelite men and women. They were their own special category, so they're not exactly trans individuals, but they are like a unique category in of themselves. And Jesus affirmed that category. I would love it to find out that Jesus was, if Jesus came back today, if he was actually not dead, was actually the Messiah, that he was actually very pro-trans, which would be very cool of him. But something tells me that people like to paint Jesus as being like a really cool guy and all that kind of stuff, being really nice and friendly. But at the end of the day, he was probably just a dick. By our standards, he was a dick. Now we got our first guest of the day. By the way, guys, before I bring up our first guest, which is Yizu Shitifa, I'm going to remind everyone that I got a special Hebrew lesson for today. And the reason why the Hebrew lesson for today is special is because it's not just a Hebrew lesson on a Hebrew word. It's also a takedown / rebuttal of a comment that I received on Thursday's video. Another example of a Christian with unearned confidence. But we're gonna ring up first guest for the day. Yizu Shatifa. If I sound tired, it's because I was up till almost 7 in the morning doing research for this Hebrew lesson of the day. So there you go, guys. Okay, Yizu, I'm gonna ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we can get to the conversation. Question number 1: are you at least 18?
Yes.
Question number 2: what pronouns do you go by?
I am a he.
All right, and then question number 3: is Jesus the Messiah?
Yes.
All right, I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. This is my co-host Ashlyn, and we would say Jesus was not the Messiah. Prove us wrong.
Okie dokie. So like he's the one that the Gentiles trust. I mean, it's simple as that.
I mean, Gentiles trust a lot of people. None of them are the Messiah, though. Just because you trust someone doesn't make you the Messiah.
Also, doesn't Jesus not like the Gentiles, or at least use negative language towards them?
At least in part. He may have gotten better, but at first he definitely had a problem with them. Gentiles also trust Donald Trump. Gentiles also trust Donald Trump. Is Donald Trump the Messiah now?
No.
All right, then the Gentiles trusting in someone doesn't make them the Messiah. You know what would make someone the Messiah? If they fulfilled Messianic. If they fulfilled Messianic prophecy, which I don't think Jesus fulfilled even one.
Which prophecy?
Any of them. If they fulfilled any prophecies, that would be impressive.
So here's the thing. So like I also believe that Cyrus was a Messiah and all the other Messiahs of the Old Testament, but like they didn't fulfill all of those things that you're talking about. So in a sense, a person doesn't necessarily have to fulfill.
They weren't the Messiah. They were a Messiah. You're correct. If you want to be the Messiah, the HaMashiach, the Ben David, the son of David, then you have to do the things that the prophets foretold the Messiah would do. Otherwise,
okay. So
otherwise I have no criteria to decide if someone is a true or false Messiah.
Okay. So in a sense, you're saying that a grammatical rule, in a sense, indicates if a person is anointed or the Messiah or not. So why don't we have the God anywhere? Like that doesn't make any sense.
We do. We do.
I got you. Show me.
Yeah. For example, if you look at John 3:16, it says
that's not going to fly.
Why the Hebrew Bible all of a sudden? You just asked about
because
the
in
God.
A sense, because I just made the claim that Cyrus and all the rest of the Messiahs was a Messiah. Then I know it doesn't say there's no prefix.
But Yizu, the reason I made the distinction is because you realize that the Hebrew prophets spoke about a future descendant of King David, correct?
Wouldn't anybody who's in the lineage of King David who was anointed be
well, Jesus, I don't have any evidence that Jesus was anointed. When did he ever receive a ceremonial anointing to become king of Israel?
And wait a minute. So you're saying that a person has to be king of Israel to be anointed? And that's your second claim?
Oh, if you want to be the Messiah, yeah, you have to be a king. That is one of the criteria.
I think this is just you all making up your criteria as opposed to what the word just means.
The prophets specifically say that the future individual will be a king. Zechariah 9:9, look, your king comes unto you, humble. So
we didn't set this criteria either. Like this isn't something like just atheists have. Jewish people hold this belief as well.
What I'm saying is that all of this is prophecy. And in a sense, anybody can fulfill any parts of it. But that doesn't mean that they would not be a Messiah, just like Cyrus or anybody else.
Yeah, you would. But unless you can show me that Jesus fulfilled prophecy, I don't have any reason to believe he's the Messiah.
I mean,
the long-awaited Messiah of Israel that they've been waiting for thousands of years.
Yeah, so that's just that they have a figurative, imaginary thing in their head because they put a "the" at the beginning of a word. Where it's not just about the definite article, dude.
It's about what
it's
not. Maybe if you listen.
That's your only criteria.
It's not. I've already, and you know it's not because I've already told you that my criteria for whether or not someone is the Christ, the Messiah, the long-awaited prophesied individual of the Hebrew Bible, is if they fulfill the prophecies of the Old Testament. If they don't do that, then guess what? I have no better reason to believe that that Jesus of Nazareth is Messiah than to believe that Menachem Mendel Schneerson, the late Rebbe, was the Messiah.
I mean, he could be anointed. That's the point of what I'm saying to you. You're dragging this like to a whole nother stratosphere when you all say the Messiah.
Even if Jesus happened to be anointed, I don't care if he's just an anointed one. I want to know if he's the anointed one.
Well, then-
Is he the prophesied one?
So listen, this is like I want to show the equivalent to this argument. It's just like you saying if somebody is your God, that doesn't mean that they're not a God. They're just not your God. You see?
I don't care about that.
So what
I
you're
don't care
doing
about.
now-
We're not talking about gods. It's not equivalent. I'm asking. My question is very specific. When I say Jesus was not the, notice that in the title, I say Jesus was not the Messiah, not just a Messiah. I say
Right,
Jesus was
which
not
is
the Messiah,
according to
and by the Messiah, I mean he did not fulfill the prophecies about the long-awaited anointed one in the Hebrew Bible.
Yeah. So I see what's going on here. I understand it. It's just like when I talk to atheists about God and they're like, well, I don't believe in a supernatural deity. And it's like, no one told you that's what God was, but you made
is
that
what
up
God
in your
is.
mind.
I didn't make it up in our mind.
So
That is the definition. That is
God is
we didn't make it up in our mind. That is the definition of God, but we're not going to get off the topic. When we talk about the Messiah, that is something that okay. Who came up with the concept of the Messiah?
it's a word. It's the anointed.
Who
In
came
a
up
sense,
with
you're
the
saying that
concept
Jesus is
of
not
the
the
Messiah?
anointed.
Who came up with the concept of the
Well,
Messiah? Show me. Okay,
No,
show me,
God,
please,
God,
please, for the love of your God, show me that you're smart enough to have this conversation.
so any word of God comes from God. No one
Didn't ask
makes
about
up
that.
words of God.
This
You
isn't.
just
This
said who
isn't.
came up with the
Well,
concept of Mashiach.
yeah. Okay, I'll just answer the question for you because you're too stupid. The answer is the Jewish people, the Israelites. They're the ones who wrote their Bible, and in their Bible they talk about a future king of Israel. I want to know if Jesus is that future king of Israel, and the only way I can know is if he fulfilled prophecy. So are you basically, is this just a very long roundabout way for you to say I don't know jack shit about prophecy, therefore I can't make this argument?
You actually do know everything about prophecy. I know that
All right.
Mashiach,
Then
when you
tell me
listen,
one prophecy that Jesus fulfilled.
cast out Satan. That's a prophecy. Do you know
Where?
that's a prophecy?
Where?
It's I got you. Listen very carefully, okay?
Because I
In
got a
the
Bible
spelling-
here. I can pull it up.
Jeez
Book,
Louise.
book, chapter, and verse.
Go to any place where it says Satan. Go to any. I'm trying to show you when Jesus mentions.
Okay. Numbers 23:23. The angel of the Lord stood in the way as a Satan before Balaam. Now what?
Exactly. Are you ready? I'm going to show you where he fulfills prophecy. When
Okay.
he says, Satan cast out Satan. Anybody who knows the parables knows that
no,
when you
no,
say
no. Where? No.
Jeez Louise.
Book.
You're not gonna let me finish, man. Don't. All
You're
right,
not.
man. Take it easy, man.
You're not giving me a Bible. You're not giving me a prophecy. I'm asking.
Runner.
I was trying to. You're not letting me.
Yeezy, do you know what prophecies are? They are.
Absolutely know what they are.
Give me a definition for prophecy.
I got you. So a prophecy is a neb. It means to generate inside. That's what it literally is.
No.
You don't know that.
A prophecy is a prediction of the future given by a prophet. When a prophet speaks of what will come in the future, that is a prophecy. That's what a prophecy is. So when I ask you for a prophecy that Jesus fulfilled, what we're asking for here is where do we ever have an instance where a prophet speaks the future about the future coming individual king, and Jesus does the thing that the prophet said he would do?
So you made up your own definition of prophecy. This is where you all.
I know you probably live in a whole different world than the rest of us, but we're not making up our definitions here. That's what prophecy is. That's how the majority of
I'm
Jews and Christians understand the word
I,
prophecy.
I'm on because I wanted to make sure I went to a Christian source, Christianity.com. The term prophecy in the Bible encapsulates the divine communication of God's will, often foretelling future events or conveying messages of moral and spiritual significance. This is from Christianity.com.
So we're not making this up. So Yizu, I don't give a shit if you think you're not a Christian. If you think Jesus is the Messiah, then you're a Christian. Now, so I would say you don't know what prophecies are. That's why you can't have this conversation so far. Is because you're just so clueless. You have no real way of knowing if Jesus was the Messiah. You don't even know what the word Messiah. You had a general sense that you knew what the word Messiah meant, anointed, but you don't seem to know what the Messiah is, and you don't know what prophecy is. So can you name Can you name a prophecy that Jesus fulfilled?
I can't while you're muting me. It's impossible for me to do that.
Well, now you're not muted, so give us a prophecy. Book,
but then
chapter,
if I don't
verse.
say what's in your, if I don't say what's in your paradigm, then you're
It's not
going
a
to mute me
prophecy.
again. I'm not gonna be able to
Okay, how about this? If you substantiate that the people of the Bible would have meant prophecy in the manner in which you're saying, we'll accept it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Let's let that happen, okay?
Yeah.
Substantiate
that.
Yeah. Show us where the Bible gives a definition for what prophecy is.
Yeah. So are you ready?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Book, chapter, verse. Book, chapter, verse, though. You can't just start saying stuff. I need you to start with book, chapter, verse. We'll pull it up with you, and then we'll read it, and then you can speak about it. How's that?
All right. I'll try to go you all's route with this. I don't read a lot of English anymore, but there's a scripture where Jesus says, if Satan cast out Satan. Could you find it?
That's not a prophecy. That's a declaration. I asked you for no, Yizu, listen, you need to focus the fuck up, dude. I asked you to find me where in the Bible it gives a definition for prophecy.
And you gave the same thing that you gave for you gave the same thing that you gave for a prophecy. So they can't both be the definition and an example of a prophecy, unless it's saying it in like different areas. I don't know. You're gonna have to substantiate this, and it's not our job to pull up the verses for you. That's your job. You need to know your Bible. If you have this argument, you should know the verses.
So I'll just put the prophecy in the chat. I know that you all are not going to let me talk.
That's not a prophecy. Those are two words. Neither of those are prophecy. A prophecy, like Satan, first and foremost. Natas. What about it?
Also,
those are just words.
Let him answer this.
Hold on. I'm talking to the chat because YouTube can't see this. He put in the two Hebrew words where he claims this is talking about Jesus, and he's writing in Hebrew. Anyone who knows the text knows how problematic that is. Satan abandoned in Hebrew. That's what he wrote. Now go ahead.
So Yizu, that's not a prophecy. That's just a statement. A prophecy is a prediction of the future. And also, I asked you for a definition of prophecy. You didn't give us a definition of prophecy. Again, you just said the words Satan abandoned or Satan cast out. That's not a fucking definition. Are you?
Yeah.
Is there some sort of is this some sort of disconnect or something? Jesus fucking Christ. I've had very few guests who have been this inadequate, this unprepared for a conversation. I asked you for a definition. Do you know what the word definition means now? Do I have to define the word fucking definition for you because you don't know what that means?
It's all right. Hey, peace be upon you all. Y'all take it easy.
Yeah, whatever. I just kicked them. You don't know what words mean. Jesus fuck.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure the YouTube chat was understanding because they can't see the TikTok chat. Yeah, I think if y'all saw that, it was Hebrew. You could have probably recognized that was Hebrew, and that was wild.
I've heard a lot of bad attempts to substantiate that Jesus is the Messiah. That's got to be top 5. Bro didn't even know what prophecy was. That was wild. All right. Let's see. I have a super chat here, and then we'll move on to the next guest. And don't forget, we got a special Hebrew lesson / rebuttal today that I'm going to do as soon as I feel like there's enough people in here. So let's take a look at this super chat.
Act Mike D. did with the $5. Just got here when you said he's a dick. First of all, he was a fucking dick. Love the background. You look very cute in that, and you still owe me a kiss.
Thank you, Mike B, for the compliment. Yeah, he was a fucking dick. I mean, like, listen, and not as much of a dick as the guy that I will be rebutting later when we do the Hebrew lesson. But you know, it is what it is. We're gonna bring up the next guest, Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh, I'm gonna ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we can get into the meat and potatoes of the conversation. So, question number 1: are you at least 18?
Yes.
Question number 2: what pronouns do you go by?
He, him.
And then question number 3: is Jesus the Messiah?
Yes, I would still say yes.
All right, I'm Dalton the Bible Guy. This is my co-host Ashland, and we would say Jesus was not the Messiah. Prove us wrong.
Do you remember me from last time I was Joe Mama? And then right before I left, I was like, oh, yeah, I changed my name to a different one.
Oh, hi, Joe Mama. Welcome back then.
How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. What brings you back up to the show?
I saw what you said about the Hebrew text versus the English text, how it's mistranslated. And then I was like, you know what? Let me just do research on it. Like, I just, got to read more into it. And, I actually appreciate you for that because it did teach me a lot. Like, when I went and read the Hebrew and truly translated it did kept saying like a lion and so forth.
Yeah.
Right? And when I went to Psalm 22, because you said you didn't want to go to Psalm 22, I read it, and like how you said, it was kind of showing it like a lion. So it was kind of confusing for me. And then when I went to Aramaic, it all was just straightforward. It was like a prediction of Christ, but in Hebrew is what it was written in, right? So you can't really go to the Aramaic either. The only thing that I came across, which I thought was interesting, I just want your opinion on this.
Mm-hmm.
Is that they found in the Dead Sea Scrolls, and I need to go to my notes through my phone. If I were to switch between TikTok and another app, will it close me out?
Can I make a prediction about what you're going to bring up?
Yeah, go for it.
First and foremost, is it about Psalm 22?
Yes.
Is the claim that the Dead Sea Scroll says karu, which means pierced, instead of ka'aru?
Yeah, that one versus the other text. So what's your opinion on that?
First and foremost, yeah.
I just wanted to let them know for future, you can go and to other outside the app. You just need to make sure you're clicking back in every maybe 20 seconds or so, and then you'll be fine. If you're gone too long, it will kick you. Just
for sure.
FYI.
Thank you. Yeah, I just want to hear your rebuttal on that one.
So first things first, Psalm 22 verse 16 isn't in the Dead Sea Scrolls. It does occur in the Nachel Kever scrolls, which are not the Qumran scrolls. This is another area.
Two different sites.
Yeah. Now first and foremost, the word karu, which means not pierced. It doesn't mean pierced. The word for pierced is
it's like dug through, right?
Means to dig. It means to dig. Like how one digs a hole. The word karu is spelled kaf resh vav. The word that appears in the Nachal Kever scrolls is kaf aleph resh vav. And then secondly, if you affirm the Nachal Kever scroll, you have to affirm that the individual being spoken about is a woman, because what's very obvious is that here I'll bring up my real quick. I'm going to bring up my iPad so I can give everyone a visual.
I'm gonna just take notes because you know what? I'm not home and I had notes on all this stuff, but I want to take notes on what you're saying, and then maybe I'll try to come back another time. But I just wanted your opinion between these two scrolls.
Absolutely.
Which would be great.
Okay, so I'm going to bring up my iPad real quick so that I can be a little bit more clear about what it is I'm saying. Let's see. iPad open. All right. So, the regular word that's used in the text, the one that's from the majority text. This is the ka-a-ri, spelled kaf, aleph, resh, yud. Now, on the Nachal Kever scroll, the word that appears looks like this: kaf, aleph, resh, vav. Now, the thing you'll notice is that the vav and the yud look very similar. The vav is just like a really elongated yud. And most scholars are convinced that this vav here is a error. And the reason why they'd say that is because in the regular scrolls, the word that follows ka'ari is the word yadai, which means my hand. But in the Nachal Kever scroll, the person made a secondary mistake. They had yud, dalet, yud, hey. They added a whole extra letter, which turns the phrase to they dug her hands. So unless Jesus is a she and a her, this can't be about Jesus either. But what's obvious here is that the Nachal Kever scroll is just a scribal error. Like it's a mistake. They got both the word ka'ari and yadai both incorrect, and they put ka'aru, which ka'aru isn't a word. Karu is ka'aru, isn't a word. The aleph there is not how the Hebrew word would be spelled, but ka'aru yadaya, which would mean, if you want to take ka'aru to be dug, they dug her hands.
So the feminine error that you're mentioning, like they're the one that's saying that it's more feminine, is the one that which manuscript again?
The one from Nachal Kever, the one that says ka'aru instead of ka'ari, it features the mistake of saying yedaya, her hand.
I mean, the thing is, the way I think of it is, I know it's technically feminine, but is it what would the masculine form of that word be for pierce?
The problem is not that the word for pierced is feminine. The word for hand is. The person who's being dug, the person being dug, not pierced, by the way, because again, it's not pierced. Pierced is to ka'aru means to dig. Karu, and then the word after it is yedaya, her hand. The word is her hand.
So you're saying it should have been kara, not karu?
Yeah, no, it would have just been karu. So if you, the actual word, the way to say dig in Hebrew, they dug, would be kaf, resh, vav, no aleph. This letter right here would not be in the proper wording for karu. So karu, but then again, the next problem is that it says her hand in the text. So it's obvious that the Nachal Kever scroll is just a scribal error, and that this is the proper rendering.
Well, if it's a scribal error on the feminine versus masculine, they still put a form of like dug through or pierced, however you want to translate it, on the older manuscript.
Well, it's not just because it's older doesn't mean it's correct. You can have older manuscripts that are like, the reason the Nachal Kever scrolls are put away. Well, is Jesus a woman?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, you're mentioning scribal errors, right?
Yeah.
And you're saying that the dug through is a scribal error, but like my rebuttal to that would be, what if the pronunciation of the gender was a scribal error instead?
Well, they're both a scribal error.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, this isn't a word. Ka'aru is not a word. Ka'aru is not a word in Hebrew.
It's just, after coming across this, and I get what you're saying, here's my question to you. And this isn't like just like a scroll that was just found upon. This is older, before the New Testament, before Christians even had an agenda.
Yes,
right?
This scroll has a word that's not even Hebrew, a proper Hebrew word, and then a feminine word. When the psalm tells you at the very beginning of the psalm that's about David, it tells you explicitly at the psalm it's about David. So it can't be about a woman.
The thing is, though, is that like what I'm trying to explain is that even the ancient texts,
And what
are
I'm
mentioning.
and what I'm explaining back to you, bud, is that ka'aru is not a Hebrew word. Ka'aru
But
is not a Hebrew word. That's even if you want to
I know,
say
but I
if you want to say that this is authentic, then all it tells us is they insert nonsense word, my hands and my feet, because ka'aru doesn't have a meaning in Hebrew.
Mm. I'm just curious on what to trust if I was a Hebrew person as well. Like, say if I was a Jew,
Trust
which scrolls would you trust?
the Masoretic text, the Leningrad Codex is like
But
the
only the
best.
Masoretic text.
It's the best testament to what the Hebrew says. It's the most complete. Generally, it agrees with the actual Dead Sea Scrolls as opposed to the Nachal Kever scrolls. Like, don't trust this one
So when did the
scroll from
Masoretic text come?
in the 9th century CE.
And this
Yeah.
text, that's so just based on like evidence. If I'm an atheist and I want to go based off evidence on the
Mhm.
most ancient text.
Well, most ancient doesn't mean more true, because again,
Oh man.
this Nachal Kever
But if we're
scroll
using
is
logic,
logic would tell us that the majority instances of Psalm 22:16 say, like a lion at my hands and feet, and there's only one scroll and it contains an error in it. This would tell us that, well, this is the minority view, and also the fact that it has this error in it, Yedaya, well, that would just, it's more likely, Occam's razor is, it's more likely that ka'aru, which again is not a Hebrew word, is a spelling mistake.
so the Occam's razor, right? Can we define it real quick? Can you define it for the audience?
Yeah, basically the whatever has less assumptions built in is more likely to be the true. Ashton can get probably
With all data equal, like each the one with the less assumptions is likely the more parsimonious.
Mm-hmm. Here's my question to both of you using Occam's razor. Okay, we're saying the one with the less assumptions is false, correct? But this is the
it's
older
true.
text.
No,
It's
no,
true.
no, no, no,
The one with the
no, no,
less
no.
assumptions is true.
The less though is more
Oh,
likely.
sorry.
It's more parsimonious,
Got
meaning
it.
that it's more likely to be correct.
Right. Less assumptions. My bad. I had a brain fart. But
So
the one with
on
the
the
less
one
assumptions is true.
so on the
Correct?
one hand, so on the one hand, we have the Masoretic texts, which make up the majority of Hebrew manuscripts. And generally
Right,
the
right,
Masoretic
right.
text tends to agree with the Dead Sea Scrolls. And in the case of Psalm 22 verse 16, it doesn't appear in the Dead Sea Scrolls, so you can't corroborate or ask the question of whether or not it's accurate. All we have is one single, not even multiple, one single work from a cave, and that one single work has a word that doesn't have any meaning in it, followed by another word which is feminine.
It's something to look at, though, man.
I have looked at it. That's
It's,
how I know.
yeah.
That's why I knew about it before you even brought up. I knew exactly what you were going to reference because I have looked into it.
Mhm.
It's not a good argument for like a messianic interpretation of Psalm 22 because you'll have to make Jesus a woman, and also ka'aru doesn't have any meaning.
I'm just thinking through because I was trying to ask a question about the Occam's razor, the one with the less assumptions, right? We have to remember that we came in with the Masoretic. Is that what was it called? Masoretic? Am I pronouncing it right?
Yeah, Masoretic text.
That came in 9th century AD
Uh-huh.
or 9th century overall. My question to you is this. We're saying that the 1st century text was corrupted, but the 9th century text was never ever defiled.
and the reason, well, didn't make the claim it was never defiled. I don't think that there's such a thing as a pure Hebrew Bible. There isn't even a single one. But when we look at this one single manuscript from this one cave, again, I'll say it again because I can't say it enough, apparently. Ka'aru is not a Hebrew word. It doesn't have any meaning. And it's followed by a feminine word, Yedaya, her hand.
Mm-hmm.
It basically, if you wanted to translate this verse now into English, it'd be like, they glilach, her hand and my feet.
So do you think the person who was writing the scroll in that first century AD like didn't know Jewish language correctly
No, they
to
just
be
made a
writing
mistake.
this?
They just made a mistake. They were copying the scroll. They extended the yud to where it was a vav on accident, and then they ended up writing, instead of my hand, they wrote her hand because they're very similar.
Okay, so
Mistakes
uh-huh.
occur. And you know what happens when a scribe makes a mistake on a
Mm-hmm.
Hebrew Bible? They don't burn it. They don't throw it in the
Uh-huh.
trash. They bury it.
Oh. Oh, I see. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they have to treat the Torah scroll or any scroll of the Hebrew Bible like a corpse. They have to give it proper burial, which is why it was found in the Nachal Kever cave. It was a
I
mistake
see.
that was given proper burial instead of like destroyed.
So here's my question to you, just to follow up. Um, my question to you is like in the Masoretic text, if you were to translate it straight from Hebrew to English, the grammar sounds very strange, like the verbs and whatnot. Because when correct me if I'm wrong, this is my note. Like for that verse, it says, "For dogs have encompassed me, a company of evildoers have encircled me, like a lion my hands and my feet." Right?
Yeah, yeah. Which, by the
The
way,
verb, like,
the psalm is written. It's emotional psalm describing one's enemies surrounding them. It does sound strange, but this isn't English. We can't forget that. And secondly, this isn't the only time that lions occur in Psalm 22. They actually occur both before this verse and after this verse. The idea of lions attacking the individual.
right, but the Masoretic text, there's no verb like at the end of that sentence. That's what makes it so strange to read. Like when I was even reading it on my own free time, like this is so weird, like it doesn't make any sense. And it's probably because of my translation to it is that I'm a Christian, right? So I had to change the word like a lion to pierce, you know, for my own understanding of the Messiah. But if you read it in Hebrew text, it's not like that, right? So it's strange. Then if you read it in
It,
Aramaic, it's very spot on,
it is
right? But we
strange.
can't use
Well,
Aramaic for
yeah,
this.
because the Aramaic's not original. It's a paraphrase written
Right, right,
much,
right.
much later. And
I'm just
yeah,
comparing the three
it's
languages.
strange, but we can't forget that the authors of the Hebrew Bible, especially the psalmists, they don't have publishers. They don't have like there's no standard for, like if you write something weird, you don't get to publish. No, the psalmist gets to publish whatever he wants to the king. As long as the king approves, then it's fine.
hmm The only question I have for you between this type of text for the Masoretic versus the other one, I don't even know how to pronounce the other one. How do you say it again?
Nachel Chever.
Nachel Cheber. Okay. This one, like, I feel like what we're
Okay,
trying to defend.
here.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna have you repeat this word after me. Ha'aru
Ka'aru
is
is
not
not
a word
a word
in Hebrew.
in Hebrew.
Okay, so what is Ka'aru?
Not a word in Hebrew.
Okay, it doesn't have any meaning, correct?
Yeah, I guess from what you're saying. I'm
Yeah, it's
trusting
not.
you on this. Like, is
It,
this what
it's
is this what
it.
all Jewish people believe?
Yes, I learned this from a rabbi.
Orthodox Jews included?
Yes, I learned this from an Orthodox rabbi. I learned this from Tovia Singer.
Why is it not a word?
Because
Did you explain that earlier?
for
Sorry.
the sake. Okay, for example, if I give you the word diug in English,
Doug. D-I-U-G? Diug.
yeah, that's not a word, is it?
Oh, I see what you mean.
It has no meaning. It's not a word. It looks like another word similar to it, but also you don't, to say to dig, you don't dig hands and feet. It doesn't make, that doesn't make any sense grammatically. Do you know who Dan McClellan is?
Yes, I do. No, I don't.
Dan,
Sorry, I don't know why I said yes to that. Go ahead.
here, I'm gonna show Dan McClellan. Here, let me show you. Pull up my screen real quick. This is an actual Bible scholar, by the way. Yeah, this is Dan McClellan. Dan has a TikTok channel, and he has a YouTube as well. And Dan actually goes into detail about the meaning of the Hebrew word karu, not karu, but karu. And he explains that even if you want to believe that karu is to dig, which is not, even if you want to believe that, he goes into great detail why grammatically that doesn't make any sense. Like, you wouldn't use the word karu to describe piercing a person's hands. We have a word to describe that action, and it's not karu. Dekar would be the proper word. And you can't dig a person's hands. You can pierce them, but you can't dig a hand. Because when we talk about in Hebrew, the way you dig something, when you in Hebrew, when something is being described as being dug, the object that is described as being dug would be like the hole. Like when you dig a hole, the word for digging is being used to describe the thing you take out of the hole. You're digging out the hole. That's how the Hebrew is used throughout the Hebrew Bible. The word digging is used to describe the thing that you take out, not the thing that's being dug into. And you don't dig out hands. That's not how Hebrew works. So the proper way would be Dakar, but Dan McClellan can go into more detail on this. Just type in his name, Dan McClellan. I'm sure here. Actually, let me
Dan
just find.
McClellan?
Yeah, here. Let me just find the title for you of the video. Let's take a look real quick. Let's see. Dan McClellan, Psalm 22, verse 16. Let's see what's the name of the video. Oh no, that's why I'm in TikTok Studio, not regular TikTok. Okay, there we go. Dan McClellan, Psalm 22, verse 16. Let's see. Is it this one? Let's take a look. Let me see.
Do they mention digging in Genesis or no?
They probably do. Digging a hole, digging a
I
pit,
think what
digging a
I
pit.
do on my I think what I would do before I come on the next topic, like when you come back on live, is look at the different terms for dig in Hebrew and just compare to ka'aru. Because I didn't
Yeah.
know about like and just look and see if there's any similarities or differences between them.
For some reason the video is not wanting to start, but I'm sure if you
What's
go
the
to
name of this video?
his name is Dan McClellan, DanMcClellan, and just type in Psalm 22, and I'm sure one of the videos on his channel will be covering it, because saying to karu a hand doesn't make any sense grammatically.
Got it. Hey man, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I always love coming on here to just get your opinion. It's always good.
Absolutely. You have a wonderful day, bud.
You too. Peace.
All right, real quick, I need to put in today's date. Today is 2/21/26. We've already had two guests. The first one was Yizu, and Yizu didn't know what prophecy was. And then now we got Gilgamesh, in parentheses, Joe Mama, on Psalm 22. Ka'ari. All right. I'm gonna bring up Renly real quick, Johnny B. Johnny B, what brings you up to the live, bud?
Hey bud, how you doing? So just for starters, I'm over 18. I'm 22. He him, not a Bible believer. I had a few questions. So regarding the Nahal Hever scrolls, is it possible that whoever was whoever was copying whatever source manuscript just like made a mistake, but they couldn't actually read it, so they didn't realize that they made a mistake, or
That's always possible, although it's just as likely, if not more possible, that the reason that the Nahal Kever scroll is buried away is precisely because it was a mistake. Because that is the way you would treat like a faulty Torah or Tanakh or a Hebrew Bible scroll. Is you don't burn it, you don't tear it apart, you don't throw it in the dump. You have to bury it in some fashion, which the Nahal Kever scroll was. So both are, could happen. I personally think that the reason is probably because it was like a faulty manuscript, and so they set it aside and buried it away because 2 mistakes in a row is pretty damning.
yeah. Also, thank you, Ashley. I appreciate it. I mean, I learned a lot of the things I learned from Dalton. So I mean, like, if you
Yeah,
think
but
I'm well,
you're also actually, I would say even better than I am about explaining the details of them. Also, anyone in here, Johnny B runs lives on this topic, and it's a fun time. You should definitely follow Johnny, and check out their live. Yeah, Johnny B good, exactly.
Johnny be good,
thank you,
yeah.
Ashley. Thank you, Ashley. Yeah, recently I've been getting some Christians defending atrocities, and I'm just like, today I had somebody saying like basically trying to say the Native Americans had it coming when white people came over here and did their thing, and I'm like, wait, are you saying they deserve that? And he's like, well, some Native Americans were good, some were bad, and I'm just like, no, we're not doing this, okay? So I kicked him. I'm like, we're not doing this. We're not gonna have people up here defending atrocities. We don't do that. It's just
That's what Christians do.
it's
Yeah,
fucked
guys,
up.
like that's what you get to if you want to become a fundamentalist Christian. That's what you got to look forward to.
Yeah, I've had people call me slurs, and every time they do that, I'm just like, look, this is what Christians do, guys. They're up here calling me slurs. They're calling me the F slur. They're calling me all these other names. Like, that's what Christians do, guys. Like, you don't want to do that. So,
Someone said, is abortion an atrocity? No, it's not, because prior to 24 weeks, a fetus isn't a person. It doesn't even have sentience. And then every single abortion after 24 weeks that I support are non-lethal forms of abortion. So not an atrocity. Killing a not sentient thing is an atrocity.
Well, the hierarchy is still women's autonomy and well-being in that situation. So you kind of like are in between the pro 9 months abortion, 9 months plus the sentience. I think that having a more nuanced position is actually more holistic when it comes down to the actual problems that we face. Hi, redheaded.
and the
That is.
Bible, and the Bible doesn't make it out like abortion is like a crime necessarily. It's not. I mean, it's neither pro or against abortion, but it does basically say that if somebody kills a fetus or causes like a miscarriage by accident, then they just have to be charged a fine for it, because it's basically a property crime in the book.
Yeah, it's not a murder charge, precisely. Yeah.
Because the charge for murder is death. So
Yeah. But hey, everyone, make sure that you're following Johnny B. They've been going live lately, and we like to support every single creator we possibly can.
thanks, Dalton. I appreciate it. Also, how do you feel about the Wisdom of Solomon?
I feel no different about it than I do any other book of the Bible. It's just it's probably written in the 1st century CE, not obviously not written by Solomon, although I don't think we have any works written by Solomon. Even when it says, even the Song of Songs, it will say in English the Song of Songs of Solomon as if it's written by him, but it's actually in Hebrew the Song of Songs li Shlomo, or Solomon, or about Solomon. So even then, it's not really written by Solomon. That's just a later tradition.
Had a Christian trying to tell me that there was a messianic prophecy in it about Jesus, and he was going through it, and I think it's chapter 2. Yeah, I looked up this consensus on it, and the consensus seems to be that it's borrowing off of themes like Isaiah 53 about suffering people group. Basically, seems to be what it's going off of.
Yeah, it's not really about one person. It's about righteous people in general suffering at the hands of wicked people. Yeah. Not even a prophecy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like what you two do up here. It's been a big inspiration to me. Same thing with like Justin, doing his thing. That was a big inspiration to me too. So appreciate y'all having me up. I'll drop down for y'all so you can get a new guest in here.
All right. Have a good day, Johnny.
You two, Dalton.
All right. We had someone in the guest box and then they disappeared right when I was about to bring them up. Someone was their name. It was your turn to come up. I don't know why you disappeared on this. Some 192.
Yeah, I let them know as well. I'm trying to see if they're still in here.
Yeah.
No, I think they've left.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right. Well, in that case, now is since we don't have any guests, now is the perfect time for me to do this takedown. What?
Oh, good. YouTube punk. I was gonna say, what's Johnny? Do you want your YouTube put on the YouTube side? Because I didn't know if you were producing content on the YouTubes.
There you go. Yeah. Johnny, yeah, if you want, just message Ashlyn and she'll give YouTube Punk the
Oh no,
link.
YouTube Punk is like 50 miles ahead of both of us always.
Oh, hell yeah. Love that. Okay. So we're gonna do a quick Hebrew lesson. Well, I say quick, it might not be quick, but yesterday it starts with this. Yesterday, I got a comment on a video that I made Thursday calling me a liar. Let's find out if the Bible guy actually is a liar. So for some background information, whenever Isaiah 53 gets brought up in these conversations, and they almost always do, I always bring up the fact that in Isaiah 53 verse 8, the last 4 words of the verse are Mi pesha ami nega lamo, which means because of the transgressions of my people, they were afflicted, or the affliction was to them. To be more straightforward, the affliction was to them. Not him, them, plural, because the suffering servant is Israel and not a singular individual. I received this comment from one at Eon Vox saying, in biblical Hebrew poetry, lamo is frequently used as a singular pronoun. Let's find out if that's true. We're going to break this down. BDB and Gesenius both document this in multiple verses. And he gives 3 verse examples. Psalm 11 verse 7, Job 27 verse 23, Deuteronomy 32 verse 35, use lamo to refer to a single person. In Isaiah 58 verse 8, the grammar, context, and syntax all require the singular him, not them. The Bible guy is lying. So let's see if they're correct. I went and did the research ahead of time, which is why I was up until almost 7 o'clock in the morning, because I'm petty as fuck and cannot let things go. So, first things first, let's take a look at these Bible verses that Eon Vox suggested. We'll start with Psalm 11 verse 7. I went to Psalm 11 verse 7. I'll pull it up in Hebrew. And I found something quite telling. Let's see. Boom. Right there. Browser source. I'm going to read it in Hebrew. Psalm 11 verse 7. He Zadik Yahweh Zedkot Ahev Yashar Yachetzvo Panimo. Notice something missing? The word lamo doesn't even occur in Psalm 11 verse 7. Not even there. When I went to go look at his second verse, Job, what was it? Let's take a look. It's Job 27 verse 23. Job 27 verse 23. I look at the Hebrew, and guess what word doesn't fucking show up in Job 27 verse 23? Lamo. Oh my god, it's not them. It's not there. It's not them. It's not them, and it's not there. It does mention at men clap their hands at him, but at him is alimu, not lamo. Crazy. Now, the third verse he gives us, being Deuteronomy 32, verse 35, does have the word lamo in it. But you won't fucking believe it. Watch this. Deuteronomy, let's see, Deuteronomy 32. Let's see, what was the verse? 32, verse 35. Deuteronomy 32, 35. To me, okay, so notice here, the last word is lamo. Indeed, the last three words are Vechosh aditot lamo. What does this mean? To me belongeth vengeance and recompense. Their foot shall slide in due time, for the day of their calamity is at hand, and the things that shall come upon them make
Oh,
haste.
Move it over to the right a bit.
Yeah. There we go. And all things that shall come upon them make haste. It says them. What? It says them? Not him? Holy shit. It's, you know, here's my theory, guys. Here's my theory about what Ian Vox did. Ian Vox probably went to ChatGPT or Grok and asked it to refute my claim. And ChatGPT, especially when it comes to ancient Near Eastern language, often hallucinates. It gave him two verses where the word lamo doesn't even occur. And the third instance where it does occur, it says them. So he asked ChatGPT for an answer. He didn't fact check it, which is why, guys, even if you listen, I'm not against you using like AI to do research, but you have to fact check, especially when it comes to ancient Near Eastern languages, what the Hebrew is saying to you, or else, like Eon Vox, you're going to look like a fucking idiot in front of a bunch of people. In biblical Hebrew poetry, lamo is frequently used in the singular pronoun. BDB and Gesenius both document this. Okay, take a look at that. Let's go to Isaiah 53. I'm going to pull up Isaiah 53. We're going to go to Isaiah 53. And we're going to see, what does the Brown, Drivers, Briggs, and Gesenius have to say about the word lamo? So we'll go to Isaiah 53, verse 8. Here's the word lamo. Let's go see what the corresponding lexicon number is for it. Okay. Let's see. Hebrew 5971, Hebrew 5061, and then we get to lamo. And what's that? There isn't an entry for lamo. What? It's almost like Vox doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Now, to be sure, there is an entry for a similar word in the Brown, Drivers, Briggs. It's the Hebrew word lemo. BDB. Here I got BDB lemo. Here we go. Similar, it's a similar word. The only difference is it has a shva under the lamed instead of a kamatz. Lemo. And let's see, it's 3926. 3926. Remember that. Copy. All right. BLB. Hebrew 3926. Let's see what the Brown, Drivers, Briggs says about it. Lemo in poetry for lamed, and gives a few examples from the book of Job. We'll get to that in a second. Lemo in poetry for lamed says the same thing. Mo, a paragogic syllable attached to beit kaf lamed, so as to form with them independent words. Bemo, chemo, lemo. These forms, except sometimes chemo, are exclusively poetical in origin. Mo is identical with ma, which means what in Arabic, which is used similarly planistically with certain prefixes. And then it gives a few different examples from ancient Near Eastern literature. Guess what's not here? Nothing about it being singular. And what does Gesenius have to say about it? There is no Gesenius entry for this Strong's number. Wow. Shocker. Now, notice that one of the verses he gave us earlier was Job 27. What was it? Job 27, verse 23. Lamo doesn't occur there, but lemo, not lamo, but lemo does appear in Job 27, verse 14. If his children be multiplied, it is for the sword. In Hebrew, im yirbo banav lemo karev. Now, what's the antecedent for lamo? It's his children, banev, which is, oops, here, let me move the guest box on YouTube 1 second, because Ashton's covering up a second. It's
Limo is it? That's that thing. Hicks thing. Fancy people drive, right?
yes, that's exactly what it is. But
Okay.
banav is plural. So if his children be multiplied, they are for the sword. I checked, and there are 11 occurrences of the actual Hebrew word lamo in the book of Isaiah. Each and every single one of them, guess what? It's them. Every single one of them. Them. It's always referring to an antecedent that is in the plural. That is a plural antecedent. So, was the Bible guy lying? Oh, wait, one last thing. I forgot about this one. Let me pull up my iPad real quick. I also pulled up another source. So, like we said, Brown Drivers Briggs and Gesenius don't have an entry on Lamo. But you know it does have an entry on Lamo? The Klein Dictionary, which is a Jewish dictionary written by Ernest David Klein around the 1970s or 80s. And he is a philologist and Hebrew grammarian and etymologist. You can find his dictionary on Sepharia for free. If you click on Lamo, the entry for what Rabbi says here is Rabbi Klein. Lamo, inflected personal pronoun meaning to them, poetically. Born from lamed with mo, a suffix used only in poetry. So, is the Bible guy a liar? No.
I'm gonna channel my inner Christian and respond to this. Hold on, it's coming to me. Nuh-uh.
Yeah. Is the Bible guy a liar? The answer is no. Nuh-uh, he isn't. But
No. I'm just gonna say everything you said. My response
yeah.
to that as a Christian is
will be nuh-uh.
Nuh-uh. Not gonna
So-
justify it. Just nuh-uh.
So Bible guy isn't a liar, but Ian Vox is a jackass. Which I think that's what his goal was, because now Jesus gets to ride him into town. Christians, you have far too much unearned confidence. Don't fucking make claims that you haven't actually looked into, or else you're going to look like a jackass in front of my entire audience. So yeah. So Isaiah 53 verse 8, because of this transgression of my people, the affliction was to them. And that is my TED Talk, ladies and gentlemen. There we go.
Are you sure they weren't just talking about lemons and just forgot the N?
Maybe they were just talking about lemons. I have a hard time believing it, but you know. Yeah, exactly. Interesting rebuttal to all that, but have you considered yeah. and guys, don't just ask fucking ChatGPT for answers, because that's 100% what Ian Vox did. Because the fact that he brought up two verses that didn't even have the word lamo in it, he either got his information from another apologist who was an idiot, or I think most likely he has ChatGPT and he didn't fact check what ChatGPT told him. So Because trust me, I know. I've asked ChatGPT for these kind of stuff, and when I go and fact check it, it's most of the time wrong. So here you go. I guess now I'll let's see, do we have any guests in the guest box right now? Let's see. No, we don't. So I guess I'll just read some super chats until we get a Christian that's brave enough to come up. Just don't be a jackass like Ian Vox. You can program ChatGPT to cite your sources. Yeah, and you should. And if you're an apologist who constantly asks ChatGPT for answers that are biased towards apologetics, then it's going to end up giving you shit like what Ian Vox just gave us. Yeah.
There's also Fern introduced me to what is it, consensus.ai. And I think they do a better job because they really just only pull up sources. Because I like Google Scholar, don't get me wrong. But it's kind of a pain in the butt because it wants exact matches to pull up studies for the language that's used. And it's very, very difficult to get it to pull up like all of the knowledge on that. That's kind of my problem with like Google Scholar and databases like that.
Also, to Showdon1 in the comment section saying that the servant is called the sinner in a previous passage, note that while all of Israel is the servant of God, not all of Israel are sinners. That within Israel, there was a righteous remnant who went into the exile and never sinned. They only suffered because of the transgressions of other people. The book of the Deutero-Isaiah addresses both groups, both the wicked within Israel and the righteous, which is why God refers to the prophet themselves as God's servant whose job it is to bring back Jacob. Because the people of Israel aren't a monolith. Some are wicked, most are wicked. Some are righteous. And the righteous servant is the one mentioned in Isaiah 53. The wicked servant gets shat on by Yahweh throughout Deutero-Isaiah as well. So that doesn't defeat Isaiah 53 being about Israel. So, all right.
Also, I speaking of Isaiah 118 in the YouTube chat, why don't you join up? You've got a lot to say in the comments section. Do not be a coward. Do what First Peter tells you to do, and be ready to defend your faith. Come on up.
I do have it set up now on Video Ninja, where people can like give me their names first and foremost, and that they will be muted until I unmute them, so that they won't be interrupting us now for the future. I got that set up now because John helped me with that.
Wait, can I yell at them yet? And them hear me?
No, we tried. Me and John tried fixing that up Thursday before the show, and it ended up fucking up everything. Like no one could hear me. It was a huge mess. We couldn't get it to work, so like we're gonna try again. We're gonna try again later. My setup's a bit more complicated than his, is what it is.
I haven't been able to equally hate on the YouTube callers. You know, it's not as fulfilling.
Your time will come. Your time will come. All right.
I know. Patience is a virtue.
All right. All right, we're gonna read some super chats now. Now that I've already eviscerated Eon Vox.
At Steve here with the $5. Is Ashton an expert in Hebrew?
Are you, Ashlyn?
Oh, I no, that was completely TikTok translation. I know what they're talking about. But I brew a mean cup of coffee. If that's what you mean.
Yeah. And then
At Joshua Everett with the $5. Periodic book club dues. Keep up the great work.
we should do Bible Guy Book Club. You know, there are lots of good books. And I can read them. I wonder what the I'm on YouTube now. I don't know the legality of it. me just reading a book that's copyrighted.
You can do it in Discord, Dalton. You can have a subscribers. If you're subscribers, you get access to this feature or something, or you can open up to everybody. I'm just suggesting like a subscriber thing, and then just do it in. I can make a Discord channel that you can all do voice on, and then I can actually make a separate group that will only allow subscribers to like see it, or if you want to open up to everybody, I can do that. But yeah, you definitely have the capability in Discord.
All right, well, everyone on TikTok and YouTube, especially on YouTube with the super chats, let me know if we need to do a Bible Guy book club, and if you'd be interested in something like that. I am thinking about us getting back to. I might start doing a reading of the Quran pretty soon. Like, we'll all be reading it for the first time together. I think that's a good idea as well. I'm thinking about what day of the week I should do that on. We'll figure it out. Maybe on Sundays we'll do a Quran reading. We'll see how I feel. I just got to get a better. The Quran I have right now is a shit translation. And I say it because it's like King James. It's really hard to read. So like we're gonna get a better translation of the Quran, and then we'll get on it.
And at Josiah Crinweld with the $10. I know what it's like to lose, to feel so desperately that you're right, yet you failed nonetheless. It's frightening. I ask you to what end? Dread it. Run from it. Destiny arrives all the same.
This is for you, Ian Vox, and that's got to be a quote. That's a quote from something, isn't it, guys? That's got to be a quote from something. Let's see, I know what it's like to lose. Wait, is that from Thanos? It's Thanos.
They answered in the chat. Thanos.
Yeah, that's why it sounded familiar. I just recently watched. I think it was like I watched Endgame and Infinity War recently again. So that definitely I can hear it in Josh Brolin's voice now. That's so funny.
Also, I would recommend because right now, let's see, your YouTube numbers 172 and your TikTok. When Ian gets off live and you kind of peak, I would bring up the Bible, or not the book club talk again. I would reintroduce it and then get it kind of a poll on it to see if it was something we should look at setting up. Maybe introduce it a couple times throughout the lives and see if people are actually interested in it. If you're interested in it too, you can drop me a DM on TikTok and I'll put my Discord in there, and just let me know if that's something you'd be interested in, so I can like start to collect some names to see, if this is a thing that's worth Dalton's, like putting in Dalton's hard, I was going to say hard earned, but precious time. That's what I was looking for.
All my time is hard time. Trust me. Trust me. Anyways,
maybe my subconscious was right.
Yeah, your subconscious was right. It's never not wrong in that instance. All right. Do we have anyone in the? Nope, no one in the guest box yet. So I guess we'll read all these super chats, and if we don't get anyone in the guest box, then we'll just do a quick restart on the YouTube side. So let's go ahead and keep reading these super chats.
At Joy Klein with the $5. Ian Vox just texted me and said to tell you, go away ahead.
Yeah, I guess, like, listen, guys, you're not going to be able to make any more. Sadly, the bald meme is over now. I'm not bald anymore. But you know what? I'm going to be growing out my hair. I'm going to dye it blue, and I'll be just a typical, blue-haired leftist. Next is the septum ring. Probably not to get that, but I'm thinking about when I get it done blue. I really want like a dark blue that like fades off into a light blue at the end. You know what I'm talking about,
Ash? Like an ombre type effect?
Sure, if that's what that means, then yes. I have dyed my hair before. I got my hair dyed before. I used to have like red hair. And I'm not talking about ginger red. I'm talking like maroon red, like sexy red sort of thing. Although redheads in general are, we all have a thing for redheads, I'm sure. But yeah, dye it green, the best color. Ew, no, not green. Why? So I can look like all day long I just do this. That's good. No, I want blue because it's the meme, and also I really like the color blue. It's a calming color, and you know what? I need something to calm myself down every now and then. Let's see.
You know you're gonna have to bleach your hair first, right?
Yeah, I know. I had to do that before
Okay.
with the red.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know
Dye
if you
blonde.
just put color in.
Brianna said dye it blonde. I've been blonde before, and I don't know. I don't think it looked very good on me. I've been blonde. I was blonde a few years ago. Just the top was blonde, and the sides were same color as normal. Anyways,
At Mick Kendall with the $5. What exactly are the Dead Sea Scrolls, and why do Christians think it's a W for them? And take that hat off, show some skin.
whoa, you're gonna have to throw some dollar bills my way if you want me to start showing some skin, Mr. McKendall. But the Dead Sea Scrolls. So up until the 20th century, our Hebrew Bibles were informed exclusively by the Masoretic text. The Masoretic text was produced by the Masoretes. Thank you, Mike B. Din, for the money cut. Was produced by the Masoretes. They were a group that like preserved the Hebrew Bible to the best of their ability, came up with a vowel point system, and the Hebrew Bible that most of our Bibles are based off of is the Masoretic text. But it only dates to the 9th century CE. Well, in the 1940s, specifically around 1946 to 1948, there was a young shepherd boy going about. One of his goats went into a local cave near Qumran, and he threw a rock into the cave, and he heard something break. When he went in there into the cave, he found clay jars, and one of them was broken because he broke it with a rock, and inside the clay jar it had some old scrolls in them. But he was illiterate, and he ended up selling all of these scrolls to a museum for like dirt, almost nothing, because he didn't know the value of them, obviously. And what these scrolls ended up turning out to be was that they were copies of the Hebrew Bible that date to at least around the 2nd century BCE to the 1st century CE. So significantly older than the Masoretic text. And for the most part, they were similar. At least the contents that were of the Hebrew Bible were somewhat similar. Now, some people will over-exaggerate and say that they are word for exactly the same. This is not true. They've got tons of differences in the text. Dan McClellan has a video on this topic as well, responding to Wes Huff. Because Wes Huff on Joe Rogan's show oversold the similarity between the Dead Sea Scrolls and the Masoretic text, and Dan McClellan corrected him on that. So, and in fact, no, it's not just the Hebrew Bible that was found in the Dead Sea Scrolls. We also had other writings from the Qumran community, who most scholars think might have been a group called the Essenes, including books like Enoch, First Enoch, for example, Jubilees, Jasher, and then the Melchizedek scroll, all the community roll, all different kinds of text. In fact, and you can get English copies of the Dead Sea Scrolls. I have the copy I have here is the Dead Sea, a new translation of the Dead Sea Scrolls, translated in commentary by Michael Weiss, Martin Abegg Jr., and Edward Cook. Although John J. Collins has produced an English translation, I believe, and that one's a bit more like reputable today. It's more up to date. In fact, the Dead Sea Scrolls actually have an interesting story about an exorcist who comes to King Nabonidus, and then the exorcist, who isn't God, forgives the sins of Nabonidus, and Nabonidus is healed, which is one of our oldest references to to the idea that you don't have to be God in order to forgive sins, which does away with the whole apologetic for Jesus forgave sins, therefore he's God by Christians. But yeah, Dead Sea Scrolls,
Oh,
really cool.
I've been corrected. I said the wrong thing. Consensus.app, not .ai. I have it bookmarked at this point. Yeah,
I
for
was
just
gonna-
for what I said. So
It was
Yeah.
next. I was going to
Yeah.
read it.
Of
oh, did someone send in? Oh,
at
oh! I didn't even see it. I'm sorry. I'm reading the live chat in the Discord. Which, by the way, guys, we've got a Discord. If you want to ask Dalton questions directly and you don't feel like coming up, that this is a good place to do it. Or if you want to ask the community, we actually have other scholars in here that study a bunch of stuff and have degrees in this. And they're active in the community. So it's a good place to drop your memes, do all the things. The link is in the description, either on TikTok, it's in his link tree, or it's on the description in the YouTube. So yeah, just FYI.
And then here we go. We got at Fern.Bard with the $2. Consensus.app, not .ai. But Ashland's Coffee. Oh,
Because Fern and Ashlyn actually know each other in real life now, which is really cool. Yeah. So that was the second person that she's met off the app. I'm numero uno. Actually, no. Third,
Calcifer.
because I was gonna say
Yeah.
third because of Calcifer. You met me, and then you met Calcifer, and now Fern. So, but I will always be the first. All right. I have touched penguin. You touched the penguin. My penguin? That's crazy.
Was it the penguin? I was trying to remember if I got that. You got that for me, right?
I did. 100%.
Yeah, that's what I thought. You got that. Okay.
All right.
'Cause I have the cup. I actually have the cup too. It's falling apart, but I've got the cup. It's a cup that says "I pooped today." Dalton
All right.
spent $20 on a plastic cup because I said I liked it one time. That's the type of person Dalton is.
All right. Now we got a new guest up. We got here Reformed Snow 52. Reformed Snow, I'm going to ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we can get into the meat and potatoes of the conversation. So, question number 1: are you at least 18 years old?
Yes.
Question number 2: what pronouns do you go by?
He, him, yeah.
And then question number 3: is Jesus the Messiah?
I believe so, yeah.
All right, I'm Dalton the Bible Guy. This is my co-host Ashlyn underneath you, and we would say Jesus was not the Messiah. Prove us wrong.
Okay. So, as far as I know, okay, because I'm not coming up here claiming that I know everything about this topic, for sure. But I wanted to ask you, what did you guys think about, the quote, the Isaiah 53 one? What do you think about that?
It's about Israel.
Israel. Okay.
Yeah.
And
so,
how did you come to that conclusion, my friend?
Yeah, so Isaiah 52 verse 13 refers to the individual that suffers as the servant of God. And this isn't the first time that the servant is brought up in Isaiah. He's they're actually
One
brought up
second, brother. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to interrupt you. You said Isaiah what?
52 verse 13, which is the beginning of the
Isaiah
suffering servant
52.
passage. Says,
Okay.
"Behold, my servant shall be highly exalted." And this isn't the first time in this section of Isaiah called Isaiah that the servant is brought up. They're brought up several times, and each and every single time they're explicitly identified as Israel.
So you take it as Isaiah 52:13 from what you're saying, because I don't want to misrepresent you, brother. And by the way, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. Having this conversation with you guys, because I just want to learn more too from, how you come to the conclusion that you came to. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So you said that in Isaiah 52:13, that's where it starts talking about the suffering servant, correct?
Yeah, that's the beginning of what most scholars would call the suffering servant song. It's Isaiah 52 verse 13 all the way to 53 verse 12. This is the suffering servant song.
53 verse 12. Okay, I'm just writing it down so I could look into it,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, to see from your point of view.
Yeah, this is the this is the fourth of 4 different servant songs in the section of Isaiah called Deutero Isaiah. And there
Mm.
are at least 6 times prior to this verse where in Isaiah 41, 44, twice in 45, and then in chapter 48 and 49 where the servant is explicitly called Israel/Jacob.
Israel/Jacob. Okay. So the Bible verse that I was taught about the Messiah, right? Isaiah 53 talks about and I know from your point of view you said that it's talking about Israel here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when it says he was pierced for our transgressions, he was crushed for our sins, the punishment that brought us peace was upon him, as by his wounds we are healed. That's talking about Israel there.
Yeah, first and foremost, it's important to note that in the original Hebrew, it doesn't say he was pierced for our transgressions. It
It
says
doesn't? Oh, snap.
mecholel mi peshenu. He was wounded because of our transgressions. In other words, someone was transgressing, someone was doing wrong, and
Mm,
as a result of their doing wrong, this person was wounded. Now, the person in question are the kings of the nations. When we read the ending of Isaiah 52, leading up to this chapter, it talks about how the kings of the nations would be startled and astounded because they will see something that they had never heard. And Isaiah 53 verse 1 begins with them proclaiming, "Who has believed what we have heard? And to whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed?" And
mm.
in the previous chapter, the arm of the Lord is it's basically about and by the way, when I say the servant is Israel, we don't mean all Israel at all periods of time. It's specifically
Yeah, I
referring
want to.
to it's specifically referring to the righteous remnant of Israel as they existed in the Babylonian exile. So this
So
section of
when you say
Isaiah,
righteous remnant of Israel, I'm sorry to
yeah,
interrupt.
yeah, go
When you
ahead.
say righteous remnant of Israel, you're talking about, are you talking about specifically the bloodline that the Messiah was supposed to come out of? When God, like, for example, God
No,
promised to David, through his bloodline, there would be a king, right? And
yeah,
his
that's not
bloodline would last.
no.
Go
So
ahead.
the righteous remnant, the concept of the righteous remnant within Judaism and early Christianity is that all of Israel are, for the most part, they act wickedly against God, but there's always like a group of Israelites, a small contingency of Israelites within the nation that remain faithful to God. Um,
Yeah,
and
I agree
and
on that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the righteous remnant. The righteous remnant,
Okay.
so for example, when the Jewish people were acting wickedly prior to the Babylonian exile, there were righteous people
You talking
within
about
Israel
in
who,
First Samuel and Chronicles?
yeah, that's leading up to it. Like when we have the early kings
Okay,
and
okay.
the people of Israel are
Oh
acting
yeah,
wickedly.
Kings too. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, the people of Israel are acting wickedly, but there's always like that righteous remnant within them. Well, what ends up happening to Israel? The Babylonians come in, led by Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar sacks Jerusalem and carries the Jewish people off into exile.
Yeah.
Amongst those people who are carried in exile, those people who are suffering, are Israelites who didn't do any wrong. The book of Ezekiel actually tells us that the righteous, the bad fruit were left in the land of Israel, and the good fruit were carried off into exile. So we
Can
have right,
what verse is that, brother? Could you
yeah,
tell me?
yeah. Here, let me find it real quick. Let's see, let's
Because you
see.
said that, in Ezekiel that there were some who were left behind, in Israel. And then you said there were the righteous remnant that was taken off into captivity, correct?
Yeah, thus say this is Ezekiel 11 verses 16 through 17. Thus saith the Lord God, though I removed them from off among the nations, and though I scatter them among the countries, yet no, not this one, not this one.
Not that one. So it's not, so you erase that
Where
one, or
yeah, 1 second, yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Let's see. Oh, sorry, not Ezekiel, Jeremiah. That's no wonder I was having a hard
Oh,
time finding
okay.
it.
Hold on. Let me cross that
It's
out real quick.
Yeah, it's Jeremiah chapter 24. I'm gonna pull it up on the screen, so
24.
everyone can read it. See,
And this is talking specifically about the righteous remnant that was in Babylonian captivity, right?
yeah, Yahweh showed me two
Okay.
baskets of figs placed before the temple of Yahweh. This was after King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon had taken into exile from Jerusalem King Jeconiah, son of Jehoiakim of Judah, together with the officials of Judah, the artisans, and the smiths, and had brought them to Babylon. One basket had very good figs, like first ripe figs, but the other basket had very bad figs, so bad that they could not be eaten. And Yahweh said to me, "What do you see, Jeremiah?" I said, "Figs. The good figs are very good, and the bad figs very bad, so bad they cannot be
Mm.
eaten." Then the word of the Lord came to me. Thus saith the Lord, the God of Israel, like these good figs, of the God of Israel, like these good figs, so I will regard as good the exiles from Judah, whom I have sent away from this place to the land of the Chaldeans. I will set my eyes upon them for good, and I will bring them back to this land. I will build them up and not tear them down. I will plant them and not pluck them up. I will give them a heart to know what I am the Lord, and they will be my people, and I will be their God, for they will return to me with their whole heart. But thus saith the Lord, like the bad figs that are so bad they cannot be eaten, so will I treat the king Zedekiah Judah, his officials, the remnant of Jerusalem who remain in the land, and those who live in the land of Egypt. So the people who are left behind are the bad ones. The ones carried away are the good ones. And Ezekiel, which is where I was getting the confusion from, also says that the good were slayed by the sword along with the wicked. So throughout the exile,
Yeah,
there are good and righteous Israelites who are suffering because of the
because of the
sins,
evil ones.
because of the evil of others. And what do you think would happen if, hypothetically, let's say the children of Israel are taken into exile, they do all this suffering, all of the nations think that because they're suffering, that God has abandoned them. What do you think would be the response of the nations if they are brought out of their exile and then they're exalted before the eyes of the nations? What do you think the response of the nations would be?
Well, from what I've read so far, because I just got in the book of Ezra, by the way, and basically what I know is like when the king of Assyria, I think the king of Assyria, he was in charge of Babylon in that time as well. I could be wrong here,
No, those
but
are two different kingdoms. And the king of
mhm.
Assyria came and took the northern house of Israel into exile, and then the king of Babylon took the southern house of Israel into
Oh,
Babylon
okay,
exile.
okay, okay.
Two different
So
exiles.
the Assyrian, so yeah, and that sounds about.
What was that?
Hello, I'm sorry, I had got a phone call. Sorry,
Oh, you're good.
can you hear me? I'm sorry.
Yeah, we hear you.
So yeah, so from what I know is that when the king let go of Israel, right? I mean the king basically they went back to Israel to build, a house of the Lord, because basically the king said something about how God told him to let the children of Israel go back and build a house for him,
King
and they
Cyrus,
laid the
yeah.
foundation, but
That was
but what happened
was
was like,
that
go
was
ahead.
after the section of Isaiah was written. From the perspective of the author of this section of Isaiah, this section of Isaiah 53, was written just as the Jewish people were about to leave exile. And
So
the
Isaiah was actually written before Ezra, basically.
parts of it, so the book of Isaiah isn't written by all one person. It's not all written by the
Mm,
historical Isaiah, son of Amos. Chapters 1 through 39 were written by Isaiah or by the scribe of Isaiah reporting his prophecy.
hmm
Chapters 40 onward were written by two different sets of people at a later time.
Okay.
But
But
the section of
basically,
Isaiah,
going
the
back
section
to
of
your question, go.
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I wanted to. I'm sorry, I forgot your question. My bad. Go ahead. Could you ask it again, please?
Yeah. Just the Isaiah 53 is written at a time when the Jewish people were about to leave exile. The whole message of Isaiah 53 is that Israel has suffered in the exile. The righteous remnant have suffered, and they have not done any wrong. and God is about to bring them back to their land. He's going to exalt them, and as a result, the kings of the nations are going to repent and turn back to God, and everyone will be forgiven of sin. Now, that didn't happen the way the prophet thought it would,
Mm-hmm.
but that was the expectation that the prophet laid down.
Okay. So could it be that that Isaiah, do you think it's possible that Isaiah could have been talking about Christ and the righteous remnant? Because basically it talks about how by this person's wounds, we are healed, right? And what do you think? Do you think that could be a possibility? Like, because do you agree that God talks about the idea of a Messiah, a savior in the Old Testament, that all
Well,
nations will be blessed, right? Do you?
as an atheist, I would say that God doesn't promise us anything. But if you're talking about what does the Hebrew Bible say, the Hebrew Bible does
Oh,
prophesy.
you're an atheist. I'm sorry. My
Yeah,
bad.
a future the God of the Hebrew Bible does promise a future Messiah, but the things he says about the Messiah is that he will bring world peace, that he will rebuild the temple, bring back all the exiles of Israel to the Holy Land, and establish Israel as the supreme kingdom on the planet. And everyone will keep Torah and all that kind of stuff. Isaiah 53 isn't even about the king
Mm,
of Israel. It's only about and the suffering of the servant is something that's already taken place from the perspective of the author who's writing Isaiah 53. He doesn't say he will be wounded for our transgressions as if he's looking to a wounding that happens in the future. He says he was wounded for our transgressions. He's describing a suffering of the servant that has already
Past tense,
occurred.
right?
Past tense. He's describing the sufferings that have
Mm.
already occurred of the children of Israel. And as we brought up earlier in this live, verse 8 of Isaiah 53 refers to the suffering servant as them, plural. It says in the Hebrew, the
Could you
Passion.
show me that, brother, please?
Yeah, so I'll pull up Isaiah 53. Isaiah 53. In your English Bible, especially if you're a Christian Bible, it'll say something like,
Mm-hmm.
he was,
Hold on, let me get my Bible. I'm sorry.
yeah. What Bible translation do you use, by the way?
I use NASB or ESV.
ESV. Let's see what the ESV says, just for funsies.
Okay.
I'm going to turn to Isaiah 53 in the ESV. We'll see how the English Standard Version is translating this, and if it does translate it wrong, I'll show you why it's translating wrong. Okay.
Okay.
Let's see. Isaiah 53. We go to verse 8. Is this the?
Could you also? I meant to ask you. Could you show me? Because you said it doesn't actually start here. About the suffering servant, which you say is the remnant of Israel, right? The righteous remnant of Israel.
Mhm.
You said it started in 52 or something, right? 52:12, I think you said, or 13.
In a way, it starts in 52. I mean, in reality, all of this section of Isaiah is one scroll, and this is when this section of Isaiah was written, there were no chapters, there were no verses. It was
Yeah,
just
yeah, I know that part. Yeah, yeah.
one continuous. But scholars consider the section of the suffering servant to start at verse 13. Behold, my servant shall act wisely, or shall be exalted. Again, this is the ESV, so it's somewhat problematic. He shall be high and lifted up, and shall be exalted. As many were astonished at you. His appearance was so marred beyond human semblance, and his form beyond that of other children of mankind. So he sprinkled, it doesn't really say sprinkled, ESV is problematic. Many nations, kings shall shut their mouths because of him, for that which has not been told, they shall see, and that which they had not heard, they shall understand. So it describes how the servant is exalted, and as a result, the nations are
He shall
like
be high and lifted up, right?
right. And as a result, the nations are astounded by this. So when we get to Isaiah 53 verse 1, it's the nations
What?
that are speaking.
I'm sorry. Could you go back? Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. I was looking at the last verse you saw. The
So
part
shall
where it
he,
says in verse 14, when it
as
says
many
he shall, yeah, go ahead.
as many were astonished at you. His appearance was so marred beyond human semblance, and his form beyond that of
So
the children of mankind.
so in the context here, I want to ask you, who is the you when it says as they were astonished at you? Who do you think that is?
The nation of Israel. The prophet is
Okay,
speaking
so
is speaking
mhm,
to the prophet is who is the prophet speaking to?
the nation of Israel, right?
Yeah, so when he says they were astonished at you, referring to the nation of Israel, at the beginning of the chapter, it talks about how the children of Israel are in captivity, and it talks about how
Oh,
awake,
yes,
awake,
yes. I agree with that. Yeah.
yeah, put on your strength, O Zion, put on your beautiful garments, O Jerusalem, the holy city, for there shall no more come into you the uncircumcised and the unclean. Shake yourself from the dust and arise and be seated, O Jerusalem. So it's describing the captive daughter of Zion. She's in captivity and she's suffering, but
Hmm.
now she's being raised up. And part of that raising up is that she's being glorified, right? She's receiving beautiful garments.
But how about the part, brother, where it says, if you go down back to the verse where it said, as many were astonished at you, you said the you there is Israel, right? Isaiah talking to Israel. It says his appearance was so marked. So we know the you there is talking to Israel, but when it says his appearance was so marked, who is the his? Because his, I
Israel.
mean, I think it could be,
So
so
you can
it's,
you can refer to a collective as a singular, and we see this all the time in the prophets. For example, in Hosea 11 verse 1, it says, "When Israel was a child, I loved him, and out of Egypt I called my son." This is about the Exodus, but it refers to Israel. It says, "Out of Israel,
mhm.
when Israel was a child, I loved him." So Israel is referred to as a him, even though it's a collective.
So you're saying that the you and the his are the same person in this context, which you would say is Israel?
Yeah,
Because it says, as many were astonished at you, his, it sounds like it's talking about another person. His appearance was so marked beyond human semblance, and his form beyond that of the children of mankind. So shall he sprinkle many nations.
yeah. Don't forget what we said at the beginning of this: that the nation of Israel aren't just the righteous; it's the wicked, and then there's the righteous among them, and the
Oh,
righteous
so you
remnant.
think here
They,
specifically, I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry, go ahead.
yeah, the righteous remnant, they suffer in the exile, and their suffering results in the like
I don't,
forgiveness of sin of the. Hey, by the way, this is above you. This is Rabbi Kavod, and Rabbi is actually, well, a Jewish rabbi.
I was just
Uh,
How
sure.
you doing,
Well,
Rabbi
thanks.
Kabodi?
Well, I just want to say it's actually kind of a poor translation because it should say like as many were astonished like upon you. It's elecha, um,
Mm-hmm.
meaning not like the you subject there is not actually helpful because what it is uh, if here I'll, um, can I share some like if it placed
I have it on the
upon
screen, Rabbi.
you. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Um, can mashkit. See, to me, I'm reading this as like um, on you, but that he is still the singular. Like, just I'm having a hard time here. Give me 1 second.
Yeah. Now, the righteous remnant, they're also Israel, but they're in a way they're separated from the rest of wicked Israel. Um,
So when it
and
says he here, you're saying that that's talking about, so the you there is talking about the unrighteous remnant, and the he there is talking
yeah,
about the righteous remnant of Israel. That's what you're saying?
yeah, the prophet is referred to all Israel, but then it just talks about how the suffering of the righteous remnant. He was so marred. He was like destroyed. You know, like if you would have like seen this the suffering that the nation of Israel
Of the
suffered in
righteous
the
remnant of
exile.
Israel. Hmm.
Yeah. Which is why later on he can say, because of the transgressions of my people, they were afflicted.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Because this righteous remnant of Israel is a part of Israel, you know what I'm saying, has to suffer because of what Israel did. The unrighteous remnant is what you're saying, correct?
Yeah, the righteous remnant suffers because of the sins of the rest of Israel and the sins of the nations as well.
So you're saying right there when it says his appearance, this is talking about the righteous Israel appearance was so marred beyond human, semblance, and his form, meaning righteous remnant Israel, beyond that of the children of mankind.
Yeah.
In other
So
words, the you is like it is synonymous with the him. That's what I'm trying to explain. Like it is a weird phraseology. It's like a
well,
weird. Mhm.
brother, I mean, you say you're Rav Kev?
Yeah, so Rav means rabbi, but it also means
Oh, my bad.
abundance, and then kavod means respect and honor.
Rabbi Kav, right?
Kavod, but yeah, it's all right. No
Kavod, I'm
biggie.
sorry, my
Nope,
bad.
I wouldn't be.
Forgive me.
Yeah.
Uh, Rabbi Kavod. Um, so you're saying the you there is not the righteous? I mean, not Israel, the unrighteous one, or it
I'll be
is?
I'll be back. I just gotta use the restroom, so y'all just keep talking.
Okay, bro. So when it says, as many were astonished at you, the you there in the context, according to the Bible guy, he said that the you there was the unrighteous remnant of Israel. And he said, and the Bible guy also said, his appearance, from what I heard, he says his appearance, the his there is talking about the righteous remnant of Israel. Wouldn't you agree there? Because he makes it very clear that there's a distinction, that there's two types of Israel according to the Bible guy. He said that they're both Israel, but the his there is talking about the righteous remnant, and the you there is talking about the unrighteous remnant. Is he correct in saying that,
Yeah, I think you have to read
Rabbi?
verse 13. Yeah, I think you have to read verse 13 with it. Like, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry I don't have my, but like it's talking about this suffering servant, which is
Yeah.
Israel, and that's how it is. And like almost like taking a step back and then zooming in again, like, or maybe even like I'm thinking of it in terms of like theater. So like um many are appalled by you, and then you turn and look at the audience and say, you see this guy? You
Mm.
understand what I'm saying?
So
So the prophet
it
is
sounds like
talking
it's
about the same
changing. Yeah,
person,
go ahead.
but yeah, the prophet's talking about the same person, and yeah, right, exactly. Then, uh, uh, so I'll say in my translation and in the NRSVUE, it does use him there instead of you. But what I'm saying is, in the prophet is speaking to the servant, and then turns and faces everybody else and says, "Look at it, get a load of this guy."
So you said the prophet is speaking to the servant,
In
and
13 at the beginning of 14, and then turns and talks about him.
would you agree that the servant here, in verse 14, when it says, "As many were astonished at you," the you in the context, would you agree that the you here is talking to the unrighteous remnant of Israel,
Not
or
not
the
not not
righteous
just
remnant of
not
Israel?
not just the unrighteous, but he's referring to all of Israel there, but then he
Right.
specifies that
Yeah.
the suffering servant is specifically the righteous remnant.
Hmm.
And the suffer
Accurate.
and okay, so the you here is talking to all of them, the righteous and the unrighteous.
Yeah.
But when we get to his appearance, that's talking about the righteous remnant of Israel.
Right.
Yeah.
Also,
Ooh.
I
Okay.
wanted to compare also, I just wanted to say, like, if you look at Jeremiah 39, you get a glimpse into the immense suffering that Israel faced during the Babylonian exile, and especially at the beginning of the exile. Like literally, people are flayed alive in front of their families, and had horrible things happen to them. So, like this is a tragic moment, like middle of Jeremiah 30. Oh, I thought you were gonna look. Yeah.
So
Anyway,
so this is a really important point that I often bring up in these conversations, Reformed. The last four words of Isaiah 53 verse 8 say, Mi pesha ami nega lamo. And in a lot of Bible translations, it'll say something to the effect of, "For the transgressions of my people, he was afflicted." Some Bible translations will be smart and they'll just leave out any like pronoun, whether he or them, just to make it ambiguous. But the Hebrew
Mm.
is not unambiguous. Mipesha means because of the transgression. Ami means of my people. Nega, which means to be afflicted. The affliction was lamo, for them. It refers to the suffering servant here. While it usually refers to the suffering servant as a him, which is acceptable because you can refer to a collective as a he. Here, it refers to Israel as them, lamo. And even in your Bible and other places, lamo will be correctly translated properly as them instead of just him. So for example, in your Bible, this is the ESV, Psalm 99 verse 7 ends with, "And the statutes that he gave them." In the Hebrew there for
That's
and he
Israel,
gave,
right?
yeah. But the them there, notice what
Okay.
the Hebrew, the word for them, it says vechoch natan lamo. Notice that word lamo there. And lamo is that
Mm.
word gets translated as them.
Lamo.
Or
Okay.
Psalm
Which in
chapter
the
2.
context was speaking to
His
Israel,
Israel.
right?
people. Yeah, for
Yeah.
his people, to
Okay.
his people.
Here it says, "He who sits in the heavens laughs, the Lord holds them in derision." And the word for them there, Yoshev b'shemayim yitzchach Adonai, yilag lamo. The word for them there again is lamo. So when we go to Isaiah 53 and we get to verse 8, and
Mm-hmm.
it talks about because of the transgressions of my people, the affliction was to lamo, to them. So the servant is referred to
What?
as being multiple people.
So the righteous. So you saying Lamo in the context is referring to not a singular person, but a singular group of people, which you would, say is the righteous remnant of Israel. Correct?
Correct. And this is the
By the way,
So do you
scholarly
think?
consensus amongst biblical scholars, both Jewish,
So do
Christian,
you
and
think?
non-believing.
I just
So
want to
do
say
you?
that this is theologically consistent with the role of sacrifice, in that you can't make a sacrifice on behalf of somebody else. So if the person does the transgressing, they have to make the sacrifice for themselves. And so by using this sort of group uh, mentality, it is then that only Israel is able to redeem itself.
So
Like the
okay.
notion of an outside
What?
individual making that sacrifice on their behalf is actually absurd.
Yeah.
And this is how the Yom Kippur sacrifice works too, by the way. It's not that the priest is making expiation on behalf of the people. It is that through the priest, the entire people make expiation for themselves.
So Bible guy. Going back to so you're saying that according to Isaiah 53, that yes, Isaiah was speaking to all of Israel. He was speaking to the
Well,
righteous remnant and the unrighteous
not
remnant.
not
But
Isaiah, because this section of Isaiah wasn't written by Isaiah, the prophet living at the time of the return of the exiles. Yes, speaking to the,
okay,
he's speaking about the suffering of the righteous remnant.
okay. So you take it as this is speaking of the suffering of the righteous remnant of Israel, which would be from the. Would you say that the righteous remnant is from the tribe of Judah?
No, it can be from any tribe.
Okay, okay.
Like for example, the prophet Daniel. If you even if you want to, I don't think Daniel existed, but hypothetically, the prophet Daniel wasn't from the
According
tribe
to
of
the scriptures, right?
yeah. The prophet Daniel wasn't from Judah, but he was righteous, right?
Mm,
Or
yeah.
Elijah was a Tishbite, wasn't from Judah,
He
and
wasn't even
he's
an
called
Israelite.
wasn't even an
He
Israelite,
wasn't
and
even
yet
an
he's
Israel.
yeah, and yet he's righteous, and God tells him that not and when Elijah complains that he alone is left in worshiping Yahweh properly, Yahweh tells him that there are 7,000 people who have still not bowed down their knees to Baal. So like, yeah, this it's not just Judah. It's anyone. It's the righteous remnant make up a bunch of different Israelites from different tribes.
So you saying the righteous remnant are those who always believed in Yahweh
And
and
remain
were
faithful to
faithful
him.
to him even through what I'm saying, most of the other parts of Israel who were not righteous to God, and they were punished because they're people. They were around in that time when the
Here,
people went into captivity and punishment.
let's,
So
there's one other layer that I think you're forgetting here, which is that Israel was split by Assyria about 200 years earlier, and
oh
so
yeah,
part of
yeah, I
part
know
of
I
this
know
issue.
about the split kingdom, right? Because I think Judah went into his own captivity, and then Israel, the other tribes, they went to their own captivity, correct?
Well,
Flipped is
sort of. So the southern house of Judah, we call it the house of Judah, but the house of Judah was composed of not just Judah, but also the Benjaminite and some people from Levi who were priests, and then
Okay, so the Levites and the Benjamite.
and the Judahites. So, and then the northern house of
Okay,
Israel made up the rest of the tribes.
okay. Question though. So when it says by his what's the name we are healed, right? By his wounds we are healed. According to, how you interpret it from what you told me today, how does the righteous remnant of Israel being like punished
Result in the healing of the
heal?
nations. Yes.
Yeah,
And the
yeah. Like how does that result? How do we get to that point?
yeah, and Rabbi Kavod can agree with me on this point probably that what happens when let's think, okay, let me give you an example. Passion of the Christ movie. A lot of people went and saw that, and they saw the suffering that was afflicted upon Jesus in that movie, and it moved them, right?
Mm-hmm.
It resulted in them like repenting of sin or whatever and becoming Christian and all that kind of stuff. So the seeing what they
Mm-hmm.
perceived to be a righteous perfect suffering resulted in their hearts being moved and repenting of sin and thus being forgiven of sin. The idea here in Judaism is the likewise that when wicked people see a righteous person suffer, it can result in them seeing their own wrong and repenting of sin and thus being healed by God.
And what do you mean by healing? Like, being made right with
For,
God? That's what you.
forgiven of sin. Because in the Old Testament,
Okay.
God doesn't need sacrifices in order to forgive you of sin. He can just forgive you.
I think just to add, yes, and like the notion is that this, first of all, this is multi-generation. So think of the generation of the wandering. By the way, this is a metaphor for Exodus, the Exodus story. There's a reason why these are so paralleled in their structure and in their message. But the generation that committed the sin is not the generation that does the wandering, and not the generation that goes into the land. And yet it's all one people. And so they're still all responsible for one another and enduring the people who do the thing are the same people as the people who are being redeemed from the thing. And so therefore it's all one people that are healing themselves from the sin.
Okay.
That was
Okay.
very convoluted. I apologize.
No. You're fine. You're fine, Rabbi. You're fine.
Damn, this
Okay.
stuff smells
Do
good.
you think the Bible guy? Do you think that there are?
Do we think
Oh,
there's
you're
what?
muted. You mute. There you go.
Do we
Sorry,
think
I
what?
got another phone call. Do you think that there are any? From what you know, what are the qualifications for the Jewish Messiah, and how didn't Jesus fulfill those?
Okay, here are the qualifications. One, you have to be a descendant of David through Solomon, and not through the line of Jeconiah. Jesus.
Wait, so what? Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. Let me write this down because I don't want to misrepresent you. So you said you got to be the first, from what you said, the first qualification is you got to be from the bloodline of David
Yeah, through Solomon.
through Solomon.
Yeah, it has to be.
You talking about the
David had
The priest,
Solomon.
right?
No, Solomon was the king of Israel after David.
Oh, yeah. I'm tripping. I'm sorry.
Re-
I'm thinking
ref-
of Samuel.
I just
My
want to
bad.
I just want to tell you I've never seen this many good comments coming from the YouTube chat about how respectful you are. So I just want to give you like super big props and W for reformed in the chat, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I thank you guys so much.
One
Yeah,
of the better
I am a
conversations we ever had.
Christian, but God still calls us to love and respect people, even if we don't agree. So I'm not gonna disrespect you. I'm gonna treat you how you want me to be treated. You know.
Amos
But
38,
thank
walk
you.
humbly before your God, 100%. All right. So, yeah, you have to be a descendant of King David through David's son Solomon. That's the first requirement.
Okay.
We don't have any
From
evidence of
father to
Jesus.
son.
Yeah, we don't
From
have any
father to
And
evidence
you
of
son. Like,
said
Jesus.
from Solomon, right?
Yeah, from father to son, all the
Okay.
way down. Yeah.
Okay. What's the next one?
They have to bring world peace.
Bring world peace. Okay. So and do you have another? What's the third one? If it's another one.
Yeah, there's I can name off two more off the top of my head. Third one is they have to build the temple and reinstitute the Levitical practice.
Build temple and bring back Levitical practice.
Yeah, like the sacrifices.
Oh, okay. Levi practice. Okay, so first one. And we just go off these three for right now. So do you think that Jesus came from the bloodline of David, from Solomon?
It's possible, but we don't have any evidence of it. And we have two
So do you? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
we have two genealogies given to us in the New Testament, one in Matthew and one in Luke. The one in and neither of them, according to the authors, are actually Jesus's genealogy because they're Joseph's genealogy, and Joseph wasn't Jesus' dad. But even
Well,
if you
do you
wanted to,
think that? Yeah. Do you think that like? And I'm sorry to interrupt you again, brother.
you're fine.
Do you think that it doesn't qualify because like he was married to Mary, that he was, Christ's father in the sense of like by marrying his mother? Wouldn't
So
that qualify?
he is adopted by Joseph, which means he can be called by Joseph's name. However, being adopted in Judaism doesn't allow you the perks of like adopting like tribal the tribal perks. So for example, if you are from the tribe of Benjamin and you get adopted by someone from the tribe of Levi, you can't become a Levitical priest just because you're adopted by a Levi. In the same way,
Yeah. I agree on that.
in the same way, you can't adopt the throne of David from someone who is actually. You have to be physically of the seed of David.
Do you think that Mary is from the seed of David?
doesn't
We don't.
matter.
Yeah, it has to be from the father, not from the mother, and also the
So
New
it, so
Testament.
wait, hold on. I'm sorry. So you said it has to be from the father, not the mother?
Yeah, it has to be from
Yeah,
father to
Numbers 1,
son,
2.
father to son. Yeah, Numbers chapter 1 verse
Numbers
Well,
1,
1.
2.
but from what we know, according to the Bible, under the biblical understanding, Christ, was virgin birth, so he couldn't have come from a father, right?
It's a
Which
So
big problem.
we can't
yeah,
really qualify
it's
that,
a huge
right?
yeah, it's a huge problem. That's why it's one of the things that's one of the reasons why Jesus gets disqualified. I don't think Jesus was
Could
actually born
I
from a virgin, but if he was, it would disqualify him because you have to be a descendant of King David from your father.
could I do you think I could try to show you that Mary was from the bloodline of David?
It doesn't
Well,
matter because it has to come to the Father's house, according to Numbers 1, chapter 2. And by the way,
You said
because
Numbers 1, chapter 2? Let
sorry,
me go
chapter
to it.
1, verse 2. And because Jesus is born out of wedlock, it makes him completely cut off from the congregation of God.
How is he born out of wedlock? It was God, according to the eyewitness the testimony of Matthew and Luke, that it was God who placed Christ in Mary. So how is that out
it's
of
still wedlock.
wedlock?
It's wedlock because it's not Joseph's kid.
In other words, Joseph and Mary are betrothed. Joseph is literally on the way to go divorce Mary at the
Yeah, I know.
courthouse.
And then God. So I think this goes into the. Wait, let's go back. You said Numbers
Well,
chapter what
One,
again?
one
chapter 1,
verse
verse
2.
2.
Take a
Okay.
census of all the congregation of the people of Israel by clans, by fathers' houses, according to the number of names, every male head by head. So the
Mm-hmm.
what's every time you do a genealogy, it's always from father to son, never mother to son.
Numbers chapter 1, verse. And you saying that this qualifies that Jesus could not, like, Joseph was from the line of David, from my understanding, but it still doesn't qualify
Well,
Jesus according to
well,
David because he didn't come from David?
Joseph's, whether you use the Gospel of Matthew or the Gospel of Luke, both of those get disqualified because in the Gospel of Matthew, Joseph is a descendant of David through Solomon, but if you look at the genealogy, it includes someone by the name of Jeconiah, and according to the prophet Jeremiah, no one who's a descendant of Jeconiah can be king of Israel. It's a curse on the family tree. If you go to the Gospel of
Wait,
Luke,
nobody from Jeconiah could be king of Israel?
yeah, would you like to
Yeah,
see?
Yes,
Jeconiah
yes,
gave up.
please.
Jeconiah gave up the throne to the Babylon. That's what he was the one who gave up the throne to the Babylonians. And by the way, like all of that, even if you say, oh, Jeconiah, whatever, it doesn't matter. Even if you get rid of that, Matthew 1:16 says that Joseph was married to Mary, who was the mother of Jesus. In other words, it explicitly says that Joseph is not his father. It's
Yeah.
almost like putting a fine
Well,
point on
yeah,
it,
we know it
completely
very
undermining
clearly.
the genealogy itself.
Well, we know very clearly that yes, Joseph was not Jesus' father, according to the scriptures. It was God who, was the father of Jesus Christ. But when it comes to, well, go ahead, what you were saying, Bible guy.
This is what God says about Jeconiah and any of his descendants. Thus says the Lord: record this man as childless, a man who shall not succeed in his days, for none of his offspring shall succeed in sitting on the throne of David and ruling again in Judah.
And this is talking about, you said Jeconiah?
Yeah,
Could you show me where it says the Jeconiah part?
yeah.
Doesn't say
Here,
anything about spiritual thrones. Just kidding.
see the reference to Coniah here. Coniah is Jeconiah. Coniah is it's like Nick is short for Nicholas. Coniah is short for Jeconiah.
And this is what verse?
Jeremiah 22, verses 24 through 30 is the curse on Jeconiah.
And he said Coniah is from the bloodline of Jeconiah.
No, Jeconiah is Coniah. And when it says that
Oh,
Coniah is Jeconiah, and when it says that no one of his descendants can rule from Israel, that would mean that anyone who's a descendant of Jeconiah / Coniah, the same person. None of their
why they call
descendants
him
can rule.
Coniah?
It's like, why do you call people named Nicholas Nick?
Got a point there. Mm. Oh, so it's like, okay, I'm gonna look at that one. That's a
Then
good point.
the Gospel of Luke gives us an alternative family tree for Joseph because the Gospels contradict each other on this, and they say that Solomon that Joseph is the son of David through Nathan instead of Solomon, and Nathan's bloodline isn't the
Nathan.
bloodline. Yeah, because
Mm.
David had Solomon. David had both Solomon and Nathan as his kids, and but
Mm.
only through Solomon is the throne come from. But yet the son of David that's mentioned here in Luke is specifically it's let's see David Nathan. It goes through Nathan.
Son of Milia, son of Melina, son of Mathan, son of Nathan, son of David. And you said, what's the problem here? I'm sorry.
that you can only be king of Israel if you are a descendant of David through Solomon, not Nathan.
Really? Is that's what it says?
Yeah, 2 Samuel chapter 7, verse 14, God promises David that through his son Solomon, the kingdom of Israel would be established.
Hold on. I'm sorry. You said
David Melech Israel.
2 Samuel, you said?
Yeah, 2 Samuel chapter 7, starting in verse 12, it says, this is God speaking to David, when your days are fulfilled and you lie down with your ancestors, I will raise up your offspring after you, shall come from your body. I will establish his kingdom. He shall build a house for my name. That's Solomon, because he built the temple. And I will be
Yeah.
established the throne of his kingdom forever. So it's Solomon's kingdom that's established forever, not Nathan.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. And so is this talking about the Messiah though?
No, it's about King Solomon, because
Oh,
I will be a father to him, and he shall be a son to me. When he commits iniquity, I will punish him with a rod such as mortals use, with blows inflicted by human beings. If he wants this to be about the Messiah, well, it says that this individual will commit iniquity.
Yeah, yeah. I wouldn't say that one is about the Messiah because, the next part says when he commits iniquities, I don't think the Messiah commits evil for sure. What wasn't it
well,
another promise that God made to
yeah,
David about
that,
through his bloodline, or was this the only one?
that's what I was gonna say. Like you also have to be anointed, which Jesus was not, by the way.
But
And like,
hold
and
on, when it
David,
says,
David did horrible things as well. That's why he wasn't allowed to build the
I agree.
temple.
Yeah.
So
What's it says, your house and your kingdom shall be made sure forever before me, and your throne shall be established forever. So, but God still promises, brother, that I will not take my surveillance from him as I take it from Saul. Your house and your kingdom shall be made sure forever before me. Your throne shall be established forever. So, what about that part? Because God still promises.
Which isn't exactly true, because what happened when the children of Israel were taken into captivity or into Babylon? Who was king of Israel?
You said what, brother? I'm sorry. Say it again.
When the Jewish people were taken into the Babylonian captivity, exile, who was their king?
Oh, the Babylonians or the Assyrians, right? One of them.
Yeah,
Joachim,
Jehoiakim was the last one, the last king of Israel, of Judah,
Yeah.
and then no one has served as a king of Israel through Judah since.
So you think when it says in verse 16, when God tells them your kingdom shall last forever, you think that this is not talking about a spiritual kingdom, this is talking about his physical kingdom, but you think that
Well,
God lied here because
I
his
don't think
kingdom
God.
didn't last forever because they
I,
went
I don't.
into
I would say God didn't lie, because I don't think God actually said this.
no. Oh, so you think the prophet was false?
I don't believe in God. I'm an atheist. Remember?
Oh, I know that. I'm talking about for argument's sake, brother. I know you don't believe in God, but
Oh
just
yeah. I mean,
for
God
argument's sake,
said.
according
Oh
to
yeah.
this.
God says things all the time that don't necessarily come to pass.
Hmm.
like, not to open a can of worms, but are you asking like maybe how Jews read the text or Jews understand?
Well, I was just trying to understand. I mean, I just have to. I would say I have to do a little bit more research on this topic for sure, because you guys bring up some good points. I'm not gonna lie there. And just keep going from there. But
Well, Reformed.
because it was
I think we've given you enough to like really ponder on for a while, to go do some homework.
yeah.
I do have
Okay.
another guest waiting in the wings, but I've given you enough. I think I've given you some homework to do, and you can come back on another day. Usually on I have to establish days when I do certain topics. But next time we do the Jesus was not the Messiah topic, come
Hmm.
back and with the homework that you've done so we can continue the conversation. It was a
All
good
right.
conversation.
Well, I thank you guys so much for the info, and I will get back with you, Lord's willing.
All right.
God bless you guys. Thank you.
And may the force be with you too.
Thanks, bro.
All right. We'll get to reading some super chats, and then we're gonna bring up Cajun K. So real quick, super chats.
At
Dalton, we can see all of that.
oh yeah, my bad. 1 second. At David 0210 with the $9.99. Hello, Bible guy. Hello, David. I would like to know, is there a scholarly consensus about the Old Testament containing a prophecy of the Messiah dying and rising? I would appreciate your insight about this.
Well, I'll say this: when it comes to non-confessional secular scholarship, no. Now, amongst Jewish scholars, Rabbi can probably speak a little bit about this. There is a Messiah who dies and rises, but it's not the Messiah. It's an anointed son of Joseph, from the tribe of like Ephraim, who dies, and then the Messiah, son of David, prays for him and brings him back to life. You can say a bit more about this if you like, Rabbi.
Not much. It was just like a very late thing, and frankly, it just adds more confusion. And I think like the whole notion of resurrection is really like something that defines the Pharisaic tradition. So I think it just, if there's anything, it just tells you how late that tradition is. That's all.
So, if you're not following the rabbi here, you should be. I don't know what you're doing with your life if you're not following him.
Thank you.
Cajun K, it was your time. It was your time to come up. Why'd you say never mind? Like, I was just about to bring you up, bud. I mean, now's the opportunity, unless you want to let it pass you by. Let's see. Sure, we all know Dalton uses non-TikTok software for his live streams. How damning. Yeah, OBS, 100%. I can't do this without OBS. It would be great if there was like a one-stop like website, like app that I could just, without having to use TikTok Live Studio and OBS and all these different things all at once. If I had one program that could do it all, that'd be fantastic. But anyways, it looks like Cajun K doesn't want to come back up, so I guess we'll just read the next super chat.
At Fern Love Bond again with the $2. Props to the yes for being humble and listening.
See, that's all I want from guests. Be humble and listen. It's not hard. We get good Christian guests who are more than willing to actually listen and have a meaningful conversation. In fact, I'd say that a lot of the conversations we've had today, whether with Joe Mama or with Reform Snow, good conversation, and we get a lot done as a result. So if notice I didn't have to mute them at all. And these guys didn't have to mute them at all in these conversations. If you're constantly getting muted, problem's probably you, not me. I would love it if I didn't have to ever fucking use the mute button. But here we are. All right, and we got one last super chat, and then I will go ahead and restart the TikTok live so we can get some fresh faces in here.
At House 70 with the $10. IIRC. One of what's
IIRC? Let's find out. Let's see. I'm learning things. If I recall correctly. Okay, there we go. All right.
If I recall correctly, one of Jesus' ancestors was cursed to not have an heir and never sit on David's throne, which could nullify a crucial Messiah attribute for Jesus. I don't have the text, so I might be wrong.
No, you're not wrong, House. You were right on the money. Because according to the Gospel of Matthew, Joseph is descended from Jeconiah. Even if somehow we allowed for for the whole adoption thing, it would automatically nullify Jesus in the Gospel of Matthew from being king of Israel, because Joseph was a descendant of Jeconiah according to Matthew, and that family line is cursed. Yes, soil friends of good old Coney. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so real quick, we're gonna do a quick restart on the
How
TikTok
can they get
side.
it so wrong?
All right,
It's like so consistently wrong. How is it possible to be so wrong?
like most Christians on TikTok, they probably read just enough in the Bible to say something, but not enough that they were able to get it right. Maybe. All right, we're gonna do a quick restart, and we'll see you all again in just a couple of minutes. Oh wait, for all the people on the Ian raid, we're just about to do a restart. So, here we go. 1 second. I did that restart real quick so that we can catch the Ian raid. Also, W to Ian for the Ian raid. 100%. Love you, bud. Thank you for the raid. They are so goated. All right, let's see. Speaking of goated people, hey there, Ashlyn.
I was just checking my DM. Someone said they had truth in their name, by the way. Said you shouldn't teach. Have I
'Cause
been
you're-
doing teaching on here and I'm not aware of it? Where have I been teaching?
Did they think that you were me and I were you? I know, that's crazy.
I don't know.
Well, there you go, I guess. But also Fern in the on the Discord, give us the red flag already. Go ahead. One of the red flags on the show is truth in your bio name. If you got the word truth in the name of your bio, you're probably a huge red flag. It's never not proven true.
My stomach is better, Liz. Thank you. Yeah, I was making sure that too, when you flashed us your studio, that it wasn't giving away any information, and that took me a little bit to get it to the exact right moment to make sure, because I was just double checking. I was like, oh, hopefully it didn't dox any of your information, but it did not.
All right, we're gonna bring up our next guest. It looks like Rabbi Kavod is it's having a hard time loading in, but until then, we have Quintavious Gooch. Quintavious, I'm gonna ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we can get into the meat and potatoes of the conversation. So, question number 1, Quintavious, are you at least 18?
Yeah.
Question number 2, what pronouns do you go by?
What do you mean?
Do you go by he, him, she, her, they, them?
I mean, I'm a man.
So, which one of those pronoun sets do you prefer?
What do you think?
I don't assume.
I guess he, him would
There
be
you go.
it.
And then question number 3, is Jesus the Messiah?
Absolutely.
All right, I'm Dalton the Bible Guy, joined by my friends Ashlyn and Rabbi Kavod. And I would say Jesus was not the Messiah because he didn't fulfill any prophecy.
Well, shouldn't your name be the Tanakh guy then? Like, not the Bible? Like, because that
No.
would include the New Testament? Or, like, are
Yeah,
you Jewish, or?
No, I'm atheist. But I talk about the New Testament too. I talk about the ways in which the New Testament authors often misquote and mistranslate the Hebrew Bible in order to make Jesus look as if he fulfilled prophecy.
Okay. Well, would you agree that in all 4 Gospels it's attested that Jesus was crucified under Pontius?
Yeah,
Or
but
under Pontius Pilate?
lots of people were probably crucified under Pontius Pilate. None of them were the Messiah.
Is there... I've never heard of any other crucifixions under Pontius, but
What about the
wait,
the people
wait
that
a
were
minute, wait a
next
minute.
to Jesus
or
on the hill?
messianic crucifixion. Sorry,
Yeah, you know that there were like as Rabbi just said, there were literally just two other people crucified with Jesus that day, right?
they weren't claimed messiahs, or they weren't messiahs though, or even claimed
Yeah,
messiahs.
being crucified under Pontius Pilate doesn't make you the Messiah. And
I know.
crucifixion,
Sorry, I meant messianic crucifixions.
yeah, crucifixion was a common like scare tactic for the Romans. You know, this is what a way that they that they tortured and killed a lot of criminals in the ancient Roman world. As long as you weren't a Roman citizen, which the people of Palestine were not Roman citizens. They were just like ruled over by them. They just weren't citizens. If you were a very treacherous criminal, the punishment you received was crucifixion.
Maybe, but how do you like? What do you make of like
Yes,
Jesus being the only person said to be resurrected within like a few years of his death instead of like hundreds of years after? Like, there's just too many things, and like it's also like in Pauline letters that are like confirmed to
well,
be like authentic for sure.
it's a good thing that there's no prophecy in the Hebrew Bible that says the Messiah will be resurrected from the dead.
Yeah, there is. It's in Isaiah.
What verse? Swear to
Um,
God, if we pull up Isaiah 53 again.
hang on, it's in my notes. Hold on.
How much, guys, you want to bet that we're going to get a third instance of that one Bible passage again?
It's an all-time classic.
It's in Isaiah 9:6.
Oh, Isaiah
Nailed
9:6 doesn't say anything about a person being resurrected from the dead. It talks about King Hezekiah and that he would like the throne of Israel would be upon his shoulders, but it doesn't say anything about a
Okay,
resurrection.
it's Isaiah 53. Sorry,
Fuck.
and
I knew
Isaiah
it.
7:40.
I knew it. Isaiah 53. I'll just give you the short end of it. Isaiah 53 is not about the Messiah, it's about Israel. The suffering servant is Israel.
No, it's about the person who would bear humanity's sins.
No, why does it use the plural them to refer to this person then?
So I think a common misconception with atheists is divine
Is it
discernment.
Groundhog's Day?
So listen,
By the way, this
as
isn't
an
just
atheist, you don't have
this isn't just an
God.
atheist thing. This isn't just an atheist thing, by the way. This is just Hebrew, the meaning of Hebrew words. Words mean words. And the word lamo, which is used to describe the suffering servant in Isaiah 53 verse 8, is plural, not singular. Can't refer to one
Do you have
person.
evidence to?
Yeah, absolutely. Would you accept a Hebrew dictionary?
Sure, but also like context, like
Yeah.
historical and biblical context also
Oh,
matter for sure.
I
So
can give you
Agreed.
that. I can give you that for sure. So first and foremost, here's I want you to read this definition for the Hebrew word lamo. Not that. One second. Okay. Guest. What does this definition say for the Hebrew word lamo?
Meaning to them.
To them. All right. We have examples of this, or even in your Bible, it gets translated correctly as to them. So, for example, Psalm 99 verse 7. I bring this up all the time. Psalm 99 verse 7. When we take a look at the Hebrew, it says, "And the statutes that he gave them." And the Hebrew word there is v'choch natan, and the last word, which means to them, is lamo.
It's
We go.
singular.
It's not. Them isn't singular. It's plural.
Okay, go on.
Psalm chapter 2, verse 4. He who sits in the heavens laughs. The Lord holds them in derision. The word for them there, lamo. So we got a dictionary. A Hebrew dictionary says lamo means to them. Even in your Bible, lamo gets translated multiple times as to them. When I go to Isaiah 53, verse 8. Isaiah 53. I go to verse 8, and the last four words are Mipesha ami naga lamo. It means because of the transgressions of my people, they were afflicted.
All right, so I think I see the confusion, but it can be reconciled in early because remember, context matters. So, will you pull up Isaiah 42:1?
Yeah, are we? How about we pull up Isaiah, all the references to Isaiah and the servant in the Psalm and the section of Isaiah.
Okay.
If I go
Isaiah
back,
9:6.
if I go, Isaiah 9:6 isn't a servant song. If I go back and I look throughout this section of Isaiah, and I ask, who is the servant? What do you think this section of Isaiah is going to say?
It's gonna say that it's about the Messiah.
Really? Okay. Open up your Bible, guest, and go to Isaiah 41 verse 8. We're gonna read a number of passages, probably 6 of them, leading all the way up to Isaiah 53. We're gonna start with Isaiah 41 verses 8. What does it say?
But thou, Israel, art my servant, Jacob, whom I have chosen, the seed of Abraham, my friend.
All right. In this passage, who is the servant?
Israel.
All right. Isaiah 44 verses 1 through 2. What does it say there?
Yet now hear, O Jacob, my servant, and Israel, whom I have chosen. Thus saith the Lord that made thee and formed thee from the womb, which will help thee. Fear not, O Jacob, my servant, and thou, Jeshurun, who I have chosen.
All right. Who's the servant there?
Well, it says Israel again, but we can continue.
All right. Verse 21 of the same chapter.
One more and it's a pattern.
Remember these, O Jacob and Israel, for thou art my servant, I have formed thee, thou art my servant, O Israel, thou shalt not be forgotten of me.
Well,
All right,
shit.
we've got 3 more verses. 45 verse 4.
For Jacob, my servant's sake, and Israel, mine elect, I have even called thee by name, or by thee name, thee by thy name. I have surnamed thee, though thou hast not known me.
Man, it's like sitting through Shakespeare. All right. 48 verse 20.
Okay.
Oh wait, never mind, not that one. Sorry, 49 verse 3 is what I meant to say.
49:3. Okay.
Yeah.
And said unto me, Thou art my servant, O Israel, in whom I will be glorified.
All right. So in 41 verses 8 and 44 1 through 2, 44 verse 21, 45 verse 4, 48 49 verse 3, over and over and over and over again, who are we told the servant is?
So here's where the confusion is.
That's not an answer. I asked you a question. You can say what you want to say after you answer my question. So who is the servant throughout all these passages?
The word is Israel.
The word is Israel.
But that's not the only who. That's the thing. That's not the who.
So
that's the word that's uh-huh.
All the passages tell me it's Israel. So when I get to Isaiah 52:13, it says, Behold, my servant shall be highly exalted. If I take into consideration the literary context, who should I think the servant is?
Jesus, because it's about the servant's vicarious suffering and atonement for others, as we see in Isaiah 53. So that doesn't fit the nation of Israel in Isaiah 53.
It
perfectly matches.
It doesn't it doesn't perfectly match because when does the servant suffer, according to the text? In the future or in the past?
In the New Testament, so the future.
No. According to Isaiah 53, according to the plain text, when does the servant suffer? In the future or in the past? Like what tenses? Okay, so we should expect it to say he he shall be pierced. We shall see that kind of language, right? Yeah, he shall or he will, using future tense. So when I go to like verse 5, what tenses are being used? Is it future tense or past tense?
Okay, so this is another, like, you know that biblical and modern Hebrew are like different, right? Tenses wise.
Yeah, I'm talking about biblical
אתה
Hebrew.
מדבר
And no,
עברית? הוא
but
חושב
also
שאין אנשים שמדבר עברית פה.
yeah,
This one turns
exactly.
more on
Like
app.
also that's
Okay.
not a true. That's also not a true statement in both biblical Hebrew and also in modern day Hebrew. Tenses work exactly the same.
No,
יש לנו ויקטור פה, לא יקטל, לא קל.
Do you speak Hebrew,
אתה מבין?
Quantavious?
hardly, not really.
Okay,
אם
we do.
היה בעתיד, אם המילים בעתיד,
Okay, I speak English, but
אנחנו,
will be incorrect about certain nuances and context and the history
no,
of the
what I'm
language.
saying to you is if we were to have something in the past tense, or sorry, in the future tense, we would see the vayiktal or the yiktal. We would not see what we have, which is the kal, the katal. You understand what I'm saying? There are. I'm giving you the four essential, the most common grammatical tenses in Hebrew. Vayiktal is like, and so he shall, or and so they will. The yiktal is the and is essentially will, and then the kal is just like simple present tense, and then katal is the past tense.
Yeah, so when we see words like has, it means that this has already happened. If we see the word shall, it means it will happen in the future. So, for example, when Genesis 14 says that Melchizedek brought bread and wine to Abraham, that doesn't mean he's going to bring it to him. It means he already brought it to Abraham. The tenses work the same exact way in Hebrew, in ancient biblical Hebrew, as they do in modern Hebrew. There isn't like some magical switcheroo that took place in Hebrew. If it says he was wounded for our transgressions, that means that the wounding has already taken place.
I mean, obviously, I don't speak the language, so I would have to do some research on that. But that's not like that's still kind of minor, like these little language
It's
things. That still doesn't account.
it's not minor. So far this is what we got. 1, every reference to the servant up until this point has been said to be about Israel. 2, Isaiah 53 uses the word them, which is plural, to refer to the servant at one point. And 3, all of the suffering of the servant is written in the past tense. This would lead me. Also, it also, point 5, it says that the servant has seed, zerah, and the word seed never refers to spiritual seed in Hebrew. It only ever refers to physical offspring. Jesus didn't have kids. So no, this is not about.
Well,
This is not.
I just
don't
want to say, from a psychology standpoint, when we're talking about cognitive dissonance, this right here is a perfect example of minimization.
I was just going to say, don't forget the counter argument of nuh-uh.
Okay, that wasn't my argument, but that's still like kind of a minor thing, and I'd have to look into it because I don't concede that point about the language. Because, like, have you considered that God knew?
I don't
God
speak Hebrew,
foreknew
but I don't concede your point, even though you do know Hebrew.
Hey, listen, guys. Smoking. I know it. The experts say it causes cancer, but my grandmother lived to 102, and she smoked a pack a day. Do you not understand,
I'm
Quintavious, how that relates?
I don't like
I'm
survivorship
putting
bias.
I'm putting the
Anecdote.
oh,
What was the?
It's called
I just put the
minimization.
sorry. You can copy my text in the thing. Put that into ChatGPT and ask it what it says, and then we can look at the Hebrew text. This is so easy.
What?
Hebrew is such a simple language. I thoroughly recommend that you learn it. It will help you read the Bible and understand it. It is way easier than you think it is. Just have to learn the letters and the vowels and the fact that it goes from right to left, and you're really off to the races. All the words are made up of similar root letters, and there are these structures that these root letters are plugged into so that you know what tense it is. It's not that difficult. It's very simple to see that this is talking about the past tense. Also, like you are creating way more problems for yourself by not acknowledging first that this was written to a group of people, by a group of people, for a group of people at a very specific moment in time. It would be absurd for them to write this and maintain this for a event to happen 600 years in the future. It just doesn't make any sense.
It wouldn't make sense if it was not God breathed and ordained. Yes.
Well, it
What's
wouldn't make
not?
sense if you know. I, I think it wouldn't make sense because it. Look, I'm not trying to like burgle your beliefs or something like that, but like the reality is the reason you're seeing it this way is because you believe in Jesus and you have a Christian faith, and that's your like lens that you're looking at it through. And what's happening is that you're essentially like your entire worldview of the Hebrew Bible is a sharpshooter fallacy, where you're looking at this text um, as if you have found an arrow in the middle of a tree or in the middle of a wall, and you paint a target around it, and you're calling it a Jesus-colored bullseye.
Real quick,
I would
real
just
quick,
yeah.
vote for change in the comment section. Stop writing in all capital letters, or else I will mute you. We have a hard stance that 1, no spamming, no slurs, and no writing in all caps, or else you're muted. Also, modern Hebrew is tainted, so is ancient Hebrew. There's no such thing as a pure language. That's a false belief. Anyways,
Also, that's thinly shrouded anti-Semitism, just to be clear.
yeah, for sure.
The notion that Jewish people or Israelis don't speak Hebrew is like bullshit. Like, you know.
Yeah, modern day Hebrew speakers speak Hebrew in the same way that modern day English speakers speak English. Beowulf was written in English. So was Harry Potter. They're different kinds of English. I mean, like, come on, people. But anyways, Quantavius, I have no good reason to think this is about Jesus. The only way you can come to the conclusion Isaiah 53 is about Jesus is if you start with that assumption. But if you don't start with that assumption and you just take the text for what it plainly says in the original language and its original literary and historical context, we have no good reason to think this is about Jesus. It's not even about the Messiah.
Yeah, to a non-believer. So like
Yeah,
there's
so
other
let's do a game here. Let's pretend, Quantavius, that you and I are both two Hebrew men. We're in synagogue. We live about 100 years before the time of Jesus. And I say to you, my brother, why should I think that this passage is about the Mashiach, the Messiah?
I'm not that person though.
Well, no, the thing is, can you make an argument that this is a Messiah or Jesus without referencing Jesus? Like, if it's clearly about the Messiah, you should be able to make the argument from just the text itself. So, for example, Jeremiah 23, I can say that's about the Messiah because the text explicitly says it's about the future king, and the Messiah is
Oh,
a
I get
king.
what you Yeah, well Numbers 24:17, the star from Judah.
Oh yeah, that's
That's
David.
Jesus.
That's King David.
No, that's
Yeah, it is. Here,
okay.
let's take a look.
But Jesus is from that lineage, like directly
Well,
from that lineage.
Well, Jesus. Well,
prophecy.
David is also from that lineage. Let's see what Numbers 24 says. Numbers 24 verse 17. It's obviously about King David. First and foremost, you acknowledge that Balaam lived before the time of King David.
Yes.
All right. Let's take a look. Let's see what it says here. I see him, but not now. So the person he's talking about is in the future. I see him, but not now. I behold him, but not near. A star shall come out of Jacob. David came from Jacob. A scepter shall rise out of Israel. David was a king. He had a scepter. It shall crush the foreheads of Moab. David made war against the Moabites. He crushed them. And the heads of the Shethites. Edom will become a possession. Seir a possession of its enemies, while Israel does valiantly. One out of Jacob shall rule and destroy the survivors of Ur. Sounds like King David. He made war against these people. When did Jesus crush the Moabites?
No. So sorry. That is just about the Messiah being the star that comes from that lineage. Like,
Well, no, it says about it that it shall crush the
Okay, so
foreheads of
David.
Moab. Yeah. It shall crush the foreheads of Moab. When did Jesus crush the Moabites?
David did, and then Jesus is the direct descendant.
Okay, so this isn't about Jesus, it's about David. David is the scepter that came out of Jacob. Did Jesus ever rule as a king in Israel? I don't remember that.
He will when he comes back.
So in other words, well, guess what? I can say the same thing about any failed Messiah. I can say Menachem Mendel Schneerson. They call him Melech HaMashiach, King Messiah. He never actually ruled, but he will when he returns. By saying he will when he returns, you're basically telling me in the audience, no, Jesus was not a king in Israel. So, but David was, and David made war against these people groups that Balaam says that this king will make war with. Also, the Moabites don't exist anymore.
You're ostensibly waiting for the same Messiah the Jewish people. Sorry.
Well, no, Jesus already showed up once. He died, was resurrected, and then he ascended to heaven.
Did he crush the Moabites?
Not yet.
God is also Jesus.
No, he's not. We're not going to get off the topic, though. Did Jesus crush the Moabites?
Through David.
No.
What?
You're basically, if you're going to say through David, then guess what? The entire thing's about David. Because it says that the same scepter that rises out of Jacob is the one that crushes the Moabites. So King David came from Jacob.
Is he making a John 1:1 argument?
Yeah.
Is he making a John 1:1 like Proverbs 8:22 sort of thing?
Okay,
let's not get into that topic.
Refer to himself in the Old Testament.
He doesn't. People have Jesus saying that on behalf of Jesus. Jesus didn't actually say these things. But say what?
Luke 4:21, Luke 22:36.
Yeah, the authors of the Gospels make Jesus say things that Jesus never said. If Jesus did say that, then Jesus is an idiot because, here, let me give you an example. If I write to you a letter, and do you know the difference between third-person pronouns and first-person pronouns?
I think so. I hope so.
So, for example, if I use a third-person pronoun, say, he went to the store, am I talking about myself or am I talking about somebody else?
You're talking about someone else.
All right. First-person pronoun is like I. If I say I went to the store, am I talking about myself or am I talking about somebody else?
You're talking about yourself, but again, this is English rules.
Well, it works the same in Hebrew. In Hebrew, when people say ani, they mean themselves. When they say who, they mean someone else. That's how Hebrew works. So when the prophet says, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me, that means the prophet is referring to themselves. They don't say, the Spirit of the Lord is upon it. The reason why the authors of the New Testament have Jesus say this, because the authors of the New Testament don't know the Hebrew Bible all that well. And I don't think the historical Jesus was stupid enough to say this. But it's talking about the prophet who wrote Isaiah 61.
How though? And why would Jesus reference himself in it like that?
He didn't.
Like
he didn't. He didn't. The historical Jesus never said this.
It's right.
I know the Gospels say that, but the Gospels aren't historically reliable accounts about Jesus.
Matthew is literally a historian.
They're not. No, we don't know. First and foremost, we don't know who wrote the Gospels. The titles of the Gospels that you have on the Gospels are from the late second century, at best. Late second century at best. We don't know who actually wrote the Gospels. They can't even agree on the historical. They can't even agree on the historical matters related to Jesus. Like the author of the Gospel of Luke places Jesus a whole decade after the birth of when the author of Matthew says he was born.
Oh, is that the Quirinius argument?
Yep.
No, because he had multiple terms. Like he wasn't like
Prove
he had
it.
power before that.
Prove it.
Because it was I haven't thought about this one in a while. It was because he had power within either Rome or Judea, like before Herod.
When was he a governor of Syria prior to 6 CE?
He was. It was in Rome, though.
Nope. No, I didn't say when was he a senator in Rome. I asked when was he the governor of Syria prior to 6 CE, because Luke says that it's when he was the governor of Syria.
I don't know. I'd have to find, like, it's probably in records,
Here,
but that wouldn't.
I'll save you
Okay.
time. There's no evidence, none whatsoever, that Quirinius served as the governor of Syria prior to 6 CE. None. I've spoken to dozens upon dozens of Christians on this topic. Not one of them has ever provided me any historical evidence that Quirinius ever served as the governor twice of Syria.
By the way, you can literally just pull up the wiki to look at this. There we already have the list prior to this of who was governor of Syria. Quirinius is not on this. We have the records of who was likely there. No,
We have the meat.
Okay, but so it's a 10-year discrepancy. Oh, you use ChatGPT. Okay, so the discrepancy is only 10 years. That's not like obviously it's the scripture is God breathed, but it's not God like made by his own hand. Like humans can make errors. Like that's a thing.
Humans and people can just make shit up, which they did because Jesus didn't say any of this. At least we have no good reason to think Jesus said any of this. So Jesus misquoting Isaiah 61 will never be a good argument that he was the Messiah. Isaiah 61 isn't about the Messiah.
So you deny that Josephus and Tacitus have any? He just wasn't a real person at all. Then
I didn't say that.
Do any
I didn't say.
miracles?
I didn't say that. Well, Jesus didn't perform miracles. No.
Why didn't?
Jesus may
why
have been
did
a
he
real.
not?
Jesus may have been a real person, but there are myths about Jesus in the Gospels. You can write things about people that aren't true. Like for example, George Washington was a real person, but he also told lies, and he didn't like cut down his father's cherry tree. That never happened. Alexander the Great was a real person. He wasn't born of the god Zeus. You can write fictional things about real people.
It's different because Jesus was real and he is God.
And so was
That's
Alexander
not.
the Great and George Washington, but George Washington didn't cut down his father's cherry tree, and Jesus of Nazareth didn't perform fucking miracles. Even if he did, false prophets can perform miracles.
it's so weird that you've met God, because I bet you I know some Hindus that have met their gods.
That would either be like explainable psychological mechanisms or
So is yours.
Yeah, and that's
Oh, yeah, no,
exactly what I
yeah.
think about yours.
Yeah, either Peter had a
What's the
psychological
symmetry breaker?
Yeah, either Peter had a psychological breakdown or he was having a bereavement hallucination and he saw his dead rabbi, which is what I think happened. Or if you want to take the spiritual route, a demon appeared to Peter. There you go.
Because then you can't explain that how Paul met Jesus too after he died.
A demon
Did he?
appeared to him. Easy. See, watch. A demon appeared to him.
No.
Also,
Read
Paul
the
also had
Bible, that's not what it
in
says.
reality, well, the Bible is biased. The New Testament is biased. It's written by believers. So of course they're going to say that Jesus really appeared to them. A demon's not going to tell you the truth.
It is one giant sharpshooter fallacy.
No,
That's what the
'cause
Christian Bible is.
Jesus-
It is called midrash. That's all it is. And I'm not trying to devalue midrash, but you have to acknowledge that that's what it is at the beginning. Like it's what it is. It's a genre. Well, and by the way, it's midrash coupled with Hellenist and Roman misunderstanding and misinterpretation of Jewish text.
So I'm going to try to rein you back on the conversation that we were actually having. Quintavious, can you provide me with any prophecies that Jesus actually fulfilled?
I got one.
what?
Besides the
Deuteronomy
okay,
18:20 through 22. Oh, sorry.
yeah,
Wait,
that's about
was Jesus Jesus
that's the prophecy
Jesus
says that false prophets will arise and will deceive many.
was Jesus a colonizer then? Like, is that what you're trying to say, Raph? before?
he's a false
Well, I'm
prophet.
saying that the Romans were colonizers. That Deuteronomy 18:20 through 22 is that he's a false prophet, and false prophets that their words don't come true should be unalived, and that's what happened.
Oh yeah, Jesus made prophecies that didn't come true, so he's a false prophet. So yeah. But anyways,
You
can you
want
provide
me-
us with an actual prophecy he fulfilled, Quintavious?
Yeah, it's over 300.
Yeah, then it should be easy to name them. Start with one.
God promised Abraham that he would establish an everlasting covenant with Isaac's offspring, and Jesus is that offspring.
No, all Jewish people are that offspring.
No, it's talking about Jesus.
No, it's talking about all Jewish people. Is Rav Kavod is Jewish? Is he not also a seed from David, from Abraham?
Look at me.
Does it ever say that's one specific individual who's the seed, or does the text just does God not say to Abraham, your seed will be as numerous as the stars of heaven? That's not one person.
Is he calling me the Messiah? That's pretty weird.
No, it's okay. Again, non-believers don't have
Is
discernment.
this seed according to Paul or the? Because
Quintavious, God tells Abraham that his seed will be as numerous as the stars of heaven. There's not one star in the sky. There's a lot of them.
Wait,
The
also,
seed
there's no
isn't one
seed.
person.
There's no seed for Jesus. So what are you even talking about? That's you're 0 for 1.
Okay, then, but you still can't explain that me and millions of others have met Jesus and he's saved us.
No, you
Like,
haven't. No, you haven't. You have a
you can't
you have a parasocial relationship with a dead guy. Now get back to the
you,
topic
you
at
can't
hand.
explain about how millions of Muslims have met their prophet and they've met Allah.
And quite frankly,
have
we're not.
Is-
And quite frankly, we're not interested in your personal experiences because none of us
Not
have
my
experienced,
personal one.
and none of us have experienced them. I'm asking you for prophecies that Jesus fulfilled, not what it is that you hallucinated.
Because your heart is closed off to God.
I don't care if you think my heart is closed up. My heart is open to evidence, and you don't have any. So provide us with a prophecy that Jesus fulfilled, and stop
Because
giving
if
us
you
stop telling us about your. No one can hear you, by the way. No one can hear you, by the way. Not while I'm talking. No one can hear you. So give us a prophecy that Jesus fulfilled, and not your personal hallucinatory events.
If you've actually done this much research, you would have come across the truth already or rejected
Yeah,
it.
and I have, which is why I don't believe in Jesus. Exactly, Nini Baba. He turned into preaching because he has nothing. Quintavious has nothing, which is why he has to start fucking preaching and start pointing fingers at me, making the claim that I know the truth, but I'm lying. No, I do know the truth, which is why I can say that Jesus wasn't the Messiah, because unlike you, Quintavious, I actually know what the Bible says. You're more than welcome to prove me wrong. You're welcome to prove me wrong, though, by quoting to me a passage of prophecy that Jesus actually fulfilled.
Deuteronomy 32:43.
All right, let's take a look. Deuteronomy 32.
42, 43.
32:43. Make sure to read the KJV.
No. All right, let's see.
Why?
Because the KJV is shit. Let's see. Verse 43.
Man.
Praise, O heavens, his people, worship him, all you gods. For he will avenge the blood of his children and take vengeance on his adversaries. He will repay those who hate him and cleanse the land of his people. That's not about the Messiah.
No, that's Moses. Moses promised God would atone for his people, and Jesus' sacrifice is that atonement.
Well, no, Jesus was an execution. You can't prove that Jesus' death was actually a sacrifice. Prove that Jesus' death was actually a sacrifice. Prove that Jesus' death was actually a sacrifice. Wait, I'm not done with my sentence. Prove that Jesus' death was actually a sacrifice and not just an execution. And quoting the New Testament isn't going to help you because that's just a claim. Give me evidence for the claim.
Romans 3:5.
That's just a claim. Give me evidence for the claim.
Hebrews 2:17. Those are the
That's just a claim. That's just a claim. Give me evidence for the claim. The people who wrote the book of Hebrews obviously believed that Jesus' death was a sacrifice. that's just another person giving me a claim. And fun fact, the plural of anecdote is not data. So it doesn't matter how many people make a claim, a million claims doesn't even equal one evidence. So give me evidence that
this is
Jesus'
also
death was actually was actually a sacrifice and not an execution.
the translation is not reflective of the Hebrew, by the way. Like what it says is his servant's blood shall be redeemed or be avenged. In other words, it's not through the blood that there will be vengeance. It is that God will avenge the blood that has already been spilled.
Yeah, for he will avenge the blood of his children. Yeah.
Yeah, so 0 for 2.
I'm gonna go ahead and step down now.
Okay, bye-bye.
I'll be
Probably
praying
smart.
for all of you.
And we'll be thinking for
I
you.
hope that you can.
I hope that you can use your brain. I just dropped him before he could finish. He basically gave up. At that point, that's basically him giving up. 1 second, let me get this going. Smart of him to realize he couldn't win, though. Yeah.
Dalton, though, you didn't really consider the nuh-uh.
It's always the fucking nuh-uhs.
You didn't consider it. It's nuh-uh.
Nuh-uh. Yeah. All he did for the whole half that conversation was. Yeah. All right. We're gonna read some super chats and then we'll move on to the next guest. I got one super chat and then we'll move on to Heath. All right. Let's see.
At House 70 with the $5. Just trying to explain Hebrew to Dalton, and his co-host is Talk Cloud.
When you as a non-Hebrew speaker come up and try to explain Hebrew to someone who actually speaks Hebrew, and also to a Jewish guy who speaks Hebrew, you're fucked, dude. Also, Quintavious says Jesus loves you all. Fun fact, Quintavious, corpses can't love people. So no, Jesus is dead, and that's a topic for another live, obviously. All right.
The anti-seed argument is actually like it makes so much sense. Like it never
Give me 1
occurred to me
second.
that
Sorry.
you can't use the seed argument if it's an immaculate birth.
Hello.
Yeah. Heath,
How's it
you
going,
got
man?
you got a lot of background noise, bud.
Yeah, if you don't mind muting me for a second. Sorry.
Hopefully you can get to somewhere quieter. But Heath, I'm going to ask you, 3 preliminary questions, and then hopefully you can get to a quieter place.
They
and then
said,
we can get.
Yeah, they just said give him a second.
Yeah. So whenever you get the chance to find a quieter place and you unmute yourself, the first question will be, are you at least 18?
Yeah.
All right. Question number 2, what pronouns do you go by?
He.
And then question number 3, is Jesus the Messiah?
Yes, I believe so.
All right. I'm Dalton the Bible Guy, joined by my friends Ashlyn and Rabbi Kavod, and we would say Jesus was not the Messiah. Prove us wrong.
So, obviously, your basis on that is going to be proof, correct?
Yes.
Okay, prove to me that you and I are having this conversation.
Oh God.
You know this is self-refuting, right, Heath?
Well, I'm saying we can't prove anything.
That gets you. So if that is the case, and I grant you this, right, and I follow this through, it is self-refuting. That means that you cannot know what the Bible says. You can't know anything. So agnosticism would be your position.
Incorrect.
Yeah, you would have to agree with me that Jesus was not the Messiah because you can't know anything.
You can't know anything.
I'm not
claiming
to know.
But Heath, listen. We're 3 hours into the show. You're the last guest. I really don't want to play the game of how do we know what we know. You and I can both assess information. We have brains. We're able to assess information, take that information in, and we
It's
can't
just
be
how I'm
100.
starting.
And I don't care. I don't care because I'm putting it into it. We're going to skip to the part where you just give us evidence that Jesus was the Messiah.
Well, the reasoning behind we know the existence of people that were long before our time is eyewitness testimony.
I believe
I mean,
Jesus
still today
existed.
they used eyewitness testimony, and like, all right, so you believe Jesus existed. So you either think Jesus was a liar or the eyewitnesses were liars, correct?
No. Also, we don't have eyewitnesses.
Huh?
We don't have eyewitnesses.
Heath, do you think Luke was an eyewitness?
No.
You don't think Luke was an eyewitness? Who was the eyewitness then?
There's plenty of them.
Who?
Name 'em.
Name some names.
It's pointless.
What?
What is that going to solve?
I just you make the claim
Naming
that we have
names for as eyewitnesses?
you make the claim we have eyewitnesses.
Yes.
You're not going to be able to name any of them though.
That was your argument, Heath. You're the one who brought up the eyewitnesses.
Yes, because that's how we judge historical evidence.
Yeah, but if
For everybody.
if the
It's
gospels
not
aren't
just
based on
Jesus, for everybody.
if the gospels aren't based on
They are.
our witness testimonies and they're just stories about Jesus, stories that quite frankly don't agree with each other, then I don't have any reason to believe them.
Keith, if you leave the screen, we cannot hear you, and it will time you out and drop you. And if you're trying to drop, you have not dropped yet.
Sorry about that.
So
Do you believe
name any
Matthew was an eyewitness?
No, well, we don't know who wrote the Gospel of Matthew. You know, our oldest Gospel of Matthew doesn't even have a title on it, right?
Matthew wrote the Gospel of Matthew.
Where does the Gospel of Matthew ever state that it was written by Matthew?
It's the Gospel of Matthew.
I know that's the title.
I mean,
that
his
we have.
disciples are eyewitnesses.
Wait. I know.
but-
No, stop, Heath. Listen. I know that's what we call that gospel, but where does the gospel itself actually say it was written by Matthew?
I'm not certain it needs to.
It does. If you want me to believe it's written by Matthew, it needs to. It's like Paul. We know Paul wrote his letters because he begins this by saying that it's written by Paul. Paul, a servant of Jesus Christ. Where does the Gospel of Matthew ever claim to be written? Yours sincerely, Matthew. Happy Hanukkah. Where does Matthew ever sign his works?
Well, I mean, you're asking questions you know the answer to.
Yeah, I know the answer is that the Gospel of Matthew never once states that it's written by Matthew. Never once says it's an eyewitness account. It doesn't say it's an eyewitness account either. It's just a story about Jesus.
It is an eyewitness account.
No, it's not.
Just
I have
because
no reason.
Matthew didn't.
I have zero. I have zero reasons to believe that this is an eyewitness account. You've given me no good reason. You just keep stating. You keep restating your conclusion. Yash?
You want to pull up the Center for New Testament Restoration and Soham Papyrus one?
Yeah,
I also feel so bad. He also listed Paul as a eyewitness. Like I feel honestly, Heath, I think you're like so over your head here. Like
You think I didn't list Paul as an eyewitness, did I?
yeah, you said Paul.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I did not.
Okay, that's
first
fine.
name,
If you
it doesn't matter, whatever.
if you retract it, that's fine. We'll accept that.
I didn't retract. I never did. You asked me, and I said no. Or no, you
Okay.
asked me about Luke. Paul was never mentioned.
That's
I only
okay.
mentioned Matthew.
That's fine.
Sorry about
Okay.
Here, I have here.
Well,
This
no,
is the
it's
old.
it's
This
not
is
okay.
this
You're
is
just saying I
this
said
is
things.
this is the oldest manuscript we have, the Gospel of Matthew. Okay.
All right, now do it for Alexander the Great. Now do it for Caesar.
Well, I didn't. We're just talking about the Gospel of Matthew right now. Staying on
I'm saying
topic.
it for anybody.
I know
Do it
you
for
have
anybody.
yeah, dude. Listen, fucking listen. Jesus
There are
Christ.
more manuscripts about Jesus than anybody.
We already agree.
Jesus fuck.
We gave you the historical Jesus, Heath. We're not arguing about that. We're arguing about eyewitnesses' accounts to something that we know for sure that he did. So, for example, there are things that we don't believe about Alexander the Great, and there are things that we do believe about Alexander the Great. And it's based on the accounts and in the validity of those accounts. People like, we had historians like Josephus who told us a lot of times where they got this information from. And we know who Josephus was. But with the gospel accounts, they're just names that are assigned much later. We don't even know where these names really come from.
I don't believe Plutarch when he says that Alexander was born of the god Zeus. Alexander the Great was a real person, wasn't born of the god Zeus. Jesus of Nazareth may have been a real person, not born of the god Yahweh. I don't have any good reason to believe that. These are myths about historical persons, not true histories about them. When the Gospels can't even agree on any of the details regarding Jesus' nativity, I have zero reason to think that this is an eyewitness testimony. Now you can unmute yourself. Act like an adult. I guess the good faith arguments couldn't last forever. We had to get one bad Christian in here today, I suppose. Unmute yourself, guest.
And Heath, it's okay to say I don't know. If you honestly don't know these things and you're out of your depth, which is fine. A lot of people are. A lot of people don't study this as in depth as Rav and Dalton do. That's okay. But I would
I'm not claiming that I
gracefully
do.
bow out. I
Listen,
would gracefully,
here's the deal.
okay,
Can
I
you
wasn't
let me
finished
speak for
talking.
a second? I mean, you're
Okay,
saying
no, Heath. I
Can't
don't
do
think you in conversations, one person talks, and when they're done, that's when you talk. That's how that works. So Ashton, keep going.
If you don't know this, to be sure, and you don't have the evidence, you can say I don't know, and you can come back later. Do all that research and then come to us with it. I'm trying to give you grace here and actually make you. We have 117 people in TikTok. We have 250 in YouTube. This will be on the internet forever. I am being nice. I promise you.
oh, you're
I'm finished.
So Heath, why should we think Jesus was the Messiah? Heath, you have to respond, or I'll just drop you.
my apologies, guys. I wasted your time, but I have to go.
All right.
I have to work. I'm sorry about that.
Smart decision. I
Yep.
gave you an out. Glad you took it.
Well, that was less than riveting. I guess I'll try one more.
That would have.
guess.
I would have just. I would have just felt so bad.
That's why I just kept my mouth shut. I felt bad for the guy, honestly.
We'll try one more guest. One more for the live. Just for the
One more guest.
Biscotti. Biscotti, you've been up here before. Biscotti, I'm gonna have to ask you to
Scotty's
turn off
having
the
a
back.
party.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to ask you to turn off the background music. I can't have music up on
what
the
is
live.
that? I know that theme song though.
Well, we can't listen to her, else I'll get flagged. So Biscotti, maybe they didn't even know they came up. Here, I'll just drop them. Boop. All right. Let's see who's live right now that we can send a raid to. Let's see.
I'm about to call one of my girlfriends.
Don't care. Let's see.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine. That's what it's
Oh.
from. Thank you. Oh, that would have itched my brain all night. Thank y'all.
Force Valkai is live right now. I'll give YouTube Punk a moment to go ahead and send the link to Force Valkai. And
yeah, Forrest Cat or Thinker is also live as well. Just FYI.
I've never sent a live to Force Valkai before. I have sent one to Thinker before, and quite frankly,
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to get on Forrest's radar. I want him to know who I am. He just hopped off.
Actually, I need this to happen.
Did he? Let's see.
Oh no. I was about to say I need Dalton to get on Forrest's radar because I need a fangirl over a Forrest.
Oh, he did just then. So yeah, I guess instead we'll go to Thinker. So YouTube Punk, there you go. Send it back over to Thinker's live. Thinker rated is then. Yeah. Forrest, you done fucked up. I was about to send my crowd to you, but I guess not. While you
Thanks for
two
having
punk,
me again. Great to see you.
hey, absolutely happy to have you on, Rabbi. You have a wonderful day.
Oh, Justin and Sarah are live as well. Says
What?
YouTube Punk.
Oh,
And yeah, if you're not following Rav, again, what are you doing with your life? I'm publicly shaming you because I think this is a case that you need to be publicly shamed if you're not following Rav, okay?
Thank you. It's very kind.
let's see. Sparrow the sissy says, I definitely want to see an 8-hour plus Dalton and Forrest stream. 8 hours. I don't know if I could do that, guys. Like, I get tired real quick.
We'll put in a catheter, Dalton.
I was about to say, even right now, I already have to pee again, and I'm hungry as hell. It's 6:49 p.m. where I'm at, and I haven't eaten yet today. I started the live super extra early today because I really wanted to cook Ian Vox, and I'm glad I did. And everyone go find that comment on Thursday's video and tell Ian Vox to go look at it because he got annihilated. So there's that. In fact, I wonder if he's responded back since, because I told him this morning. He said, "You don't have a rebuttal." I said, "Oh, I fucking do," and I'm gonna get it to you today. Let's take a look. See the Bible guy.
You don't have a rebuttal.
I know. Funny.
You should tag them in the time frame that you do the video too. Like when you go to when the live post, when you can watch the video and how you can timestamp it. Actually, in fact, YouTube stream especially, but TikTok stream. All these lives are on Dalton's channel. So TikTok stream. If you're not following Dalton on YouTube, get your butt over there. Again, I don't know what you're doing with your life either. But go over there and what video date is this comment on? You want to put it back on the screen really fast and show who it is? Go tag them in the timestamp where Dalton answers this, and we'll put it up there. Show you their name. Don't say anything like super mean. We're not saying harass or like bully them.
Absolutely not.
Don't harass, don't bully them, but just tag them. Maybe joke around a little. Just kind of show like, hey, what's your response to this kind of thing. Ashley just very judgy tonight. Yeah. Do not harass or bully them though. Like seriously.
Mockery isn't a rebuttal if you have an actual linguistic argument, which I did. Present it. BDB and Jasenius both document Lamo as singular pronoun in Hebrew poetry, which we saw they didn't. And Isaiah 53 fits that usage. If you disagree, show the grammar, not the insults. I can do both. I showed you the grammar, and also you're a fucking idiot. Ian Vox.
So this was on O2. I can't see it very well, Dalton.
Oh, it was on Thursday's live, so 2:19.
So Ashley's calling them bitches. Reverend Chad, stop. It was on Thursday, so what date was that?
2:19.
It'll pull up in the. So 2:19. It'll be, what's their name?
Ian Vox. Eon Vox. EONVOX. There you go, guys. And tell them to go check out the video.
Yeah, go copy and paste their name from the 19th stream, and then go to today's stream, the 21st stream, and then timestamp it, and then be like, "What now, Ian Vox?" or like something like that. But don't like harass them. Don't say anything super mean. Just kind of like make sure they watch it, kind of thing.
Yeah, I've said enough mean stuff to them for all of us, so just like point them to this video and let them know that they got demolished. Anyways, I think that gave YouTube Punk enough time to send out the stream. So, what's bitch in Hebrew? Well, the word for
Benzona. Benzona is really the closest, I would say.
I took Benzona once for medication. Oh wait, was that something else? Anyways, I was like, Kalev is dog in Hebrew. So it'd be like, I don't know.
Kalev.
Yeah.
Kalva, maybe. I don't know what they say.
whatever it was that Jesus said to the Syrophoenician woman, because that's what he did to her. He basically called her a B word when he called her a dog. So just putting that out there, Jesus was disrespectful, called the woman the B word. I only
Not
call
cool.
I only call inseparable mogs that, not women, because that's. Anyways.
Wait. So does this mean when we say that word, we're closer to Jesus?
Every time I call someone a bitch, I'm one step closer to being Jesus. Absolutely. Okay. Anyways, with that being said,
as Joel would say, your atheisms, do your atheisms.
Yeah. All right. I've been the Bible guy, everyone. Remember to keep reading, keep learning, and we'll see you all again tomorrow, Sunday, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Yeah. Oh yeah. And a real quick rate thinker, and also remember that this upcoming Thursday, February, I think it's this Thursday will be the 26th. We're doing something different. Normally we do these live debates where I only have like one or two guests up who are friendlies. Thursday is open for as many people who want to come up here and hang out with us as possible. And we will be taking opposition to debate if they want to come up, but really it's just a day for us to hang out and relax and to be friendly with each other, because Thursday is the day before my birthday. So we're going to be celebrating my birthday next Thursday.
Let's go.
Yeah, I'm turning 30 years old. Hitting the big 30. I know.
So this is a RIP. It's a funeral for your 20s.
No, fuck my 20s.
That's the point. Bury it.
If my 20s was a person, I'd put them in a cannon and shoot them out into the ocean, into a crowd of sharks.
Hey, listen. The funerals are for people we don't like too. Like my dad used to say, I wouldn't go to their funeral, but I'd approve of it.
It is crazy to me that according to the Gospel of Luke, I am now going to be as old as Jesus was. Jesus would literally be like the same age as any of my peers. As in my head, I still think of him as an adult grown up. I am also, I forget it a lot of times, but literally same age as Jesus is kind of crazy. This is the year that the ministry of Dalton begins. So, and Justin was the John the Baptist to my Jesus. He prepared the way before me. And now in 3 years from now, I'll be killed live on the air. Anyways, anyways,
and bye guys.
Remember to keep reading. Wait, we'll see you.
You read your super chats and everything? Everything's good?
Yep, I read super chats.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Keep reading, keep learning. We'll see you all again tomorrow, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Bye.
Born from dust and questioning fire, wielding truth like a sword of desire. Ancient scrolls and cosmic flame, he tears through myth, he breaks the chain. Echoes of prophets, the scars align, knowledge and thunder intertwine. Reason ascends where blind faith fell. He reads the word and he reads it well. The Bible guide, seeker of the light. Through time and fire he rides the night, with reason's blade and wisdom's cry. The world shall hear the Bible guide. Scrolls of ages, words aflame. He dares to question